This is Sky Sports, part of the Sky Television Network.
Sky's Premier Sports coverage is presented in association with Ford.
As Tom comes out, he shoots into the net, but the whistle's one for outside, and it's no go. And that shows the spirit of the game as they shake hands.
The crowd is getting thrilled intensely, and the climax...
He's back. Milburn is there, and he fires in a terrific shot.
1-1 after a really fine first half.
Matthews again. He's trying every trick.
He's killed it in! Oh, what a goal! That's a magical finish. Quite magnificent.
Coventry City versus Newcastle United.
A moment of inspiration.
Sky Sports with Ford Escort takes you to the heart of the action.
Newcastle haven't won on their travels for 3 months, but 3 points today and they might be unstoppable. It's a big game for Big Ron and Coventry. They were rock bottom, but they're climbing now. Can they keep it going against the Toon Army?
Ford Escort Super Sunday.
This time last year, Kevin Keegan was watching Newcastle's season fall apart. Now they're wiser, stronger and top again, but they're not there yet. Well, it hadn't been a particularly good week for Newcastle, but it mostly went their way yesterday, with Manchester United held. They're 6 points clear now, with 2 games in hand. This, of course, is one of them. There's a lot of talk about that away record as well, but only 3 teams have picked up more points on their travels, and they do like playing at Highfield Road. There's Ferdinand, Arthur Cox, very much a part of the backroom team, of course, Cox at Newcastle, and David Ginola. With a song and a smile for the camera. But wrong, David. There's the dressing room. It's a big game as well for Coventry. They're scrapping for their lives, but results mostly went their way as well yesterday. Only one of the bottom 8 won, and that was Bolton. What a prospect then. Live on Super Sunday this afternoon from the FA Carling Premiership, it's Coventry City against Newcastle United. The Coventry manager, Ron Atkinson, is about a month short of his first anniversary here at Highfield Road. He's spent, of course, but in terms of their league position, Coventry City aren't a good deal better off, but there are signs. As for Newcastle United, they are due a good away performance, and they might just fancy this one today. Our guests, the Southampton skipper, Barry Venison, and we're delighted to welcome England's discovery of the season, Steve Stone of Nottingham Forest. Welcome to you both. And everybody else is talking about it, so I think we have to for a moment or so. Steve, Terry Venables has said he will go at the end of Euro 96. Are you disappointed about that?
Yeah, from a personal point of view, I am, obviously, because he's brought me into the squad, and I would like him to stay out of the World Cup,
And where were you, Barry, and were you surprised when you heard the news?
I'm disappointed because, as far as I'm concerned, he's the best manager for the job. He's the man who picked me, isn't he? And all his wisdom or stupidity, whichever way you want to look at it. So that's going to shut the door firmly in my face. But yeah, I think he's the best man for the job, and it is a bit of a shame. But circumstances being the way they are, you've got to respect his decision. What about
from a player's point of view? We keep hearing it's a difficult job. It's the job that nobody wants. But why is that?
I don't know. I mean, if you look in recent history, the England managers have been in for an awful lot of stick. And it's not just on a professional level. You look, I mean, it's affected families as well. And do managers want to put themselves up for that criticism? I mean, you can ruin your whole reputation. You can spend 15, 20 years building your reputation, and within a few months that can be an absolute tatters by the press, the media in England, and it's a very much up and down
But is
job.
it not a good deal more comfortable than managing, say, at Coventry City, where you have to answer to the chairman, you have to account for every pound that's spent? Here you have the pick of the nation's best, you find 11 good ones, put them out, and they play.
Yeah, I think the one problem is that you're not so much in control, because your destiny's in the hands of the players who are actually fit. It's not a day-to-day job where you can affect or improve players. You're limited to the players you can pick, whether they're injured or whether they're in top form, and I think that's one of the downsides of the job.
Obviously, don't want to get you into trouble here, Steve, but when it comes to a successor, and I wouldn't expect you to commit yourself, but if England win Euro 96 and Terry Venables has said, I'm out, and that remains the case, does it matter too much who comes into players?
I don't think so, but I think you like to keep the continuity of it, really. I think you'd like to have someone like Brian Robson come in. From a personal point of view, you know, I've seen him over the last couple of months with the England squad, and to me, his stature, when he's there, he's just a big man to have there, you know, and he does very well when he's there.
And the fact that Terry Venables has said, I'm out, will that make players more determined to win Euro 96 for him?
Well, I hope it does. I mean, you're in England, really, aren't you? And you've got to win it.
Do you think that that's the way players will react, Barry?
Definitely.
Inside the squad, there'll be a real camaraderie about
I think
that?
it'll be more positive than negative. I mean, everybody's still recovering from the shockwaves, if you like, but yeah, I think the lads will get together. First of all, they'll want to win it for themselves, do themselves proud, and if along the way they can do Terry Venables proud and the nation, it's the biggest thing to happen in English football for 30 years, and they want to go out and do themselves justice.
You'd like to see him change his mind, though, would you?
I think it'd be in the best interest of English football if he can feel comfortable with being involved in England setup, whether that's the director of technical coaching, whatever the title is, or staying on as England coach.
It's a little more difficult for the current internationals to name their successor, of course, but maybe again you can help us out here.
Well, that's a long time ago, isn't it?
Of the pick of those that have been mentioned, who would be your choice? Would Kevin Keegan, for instance, really fancy it?
I think he would fancy it. I think Kevin Keegan would see this as the top job, the ultimate job. I think this is where he sees his managerial career finishing up, and I don't think there's any doubt Kevin Keegan
would be the people's choice, wouldn't he? I mean, there's a classic example of why.
I mean, not just because of his professionalism and because of his stature and the respect he's got in the game, because the man is really squeaky clean. He's got a great image, and I think he'd probably suit the FA, but he won't. I don't think he'll consider the job just now. I think he'll be an England manager in the next century, and it sounds a long time away, doesn't it? But because of his loyalty to the Newcastle fans, I don't think he'll even consider it at the minute.
So anywhere else right now, you think he might be putting himself at the front of the queue?
I think so. I think it's loyalty to the fans because they've stuck by him. They even stuck by him on the Andy Cole issue, and I think he feels he's got to repay that.
Yeah, as a Newcastle fan, I'd like to see him stop there, certainly, to win a few more trophies for him.
Right, well, let's see why this is such an important game to both Coventry and Newcastle today. For Coventry, great day yesterday. Results all went their way. Bolton, the only one of the bottom 8 that won. Queen's Park Rangers, Manchester City, Southampton, Wimbledon and West Ham all beaten. Sheffield Wednesday picked up a point, of course, in their draw with Liverpool. Chelsea drew at Everton. Middlesbrough lost for the 4th successive occasion. Top half, then. Everton 10th now, Leeds 9th, Blackburn as high as they've been all season, 8th. The champions 35 from 23 played now. Then come Villa and Forest, Arsenal, Liverpool down to 4th, Tottenham up into 3rd place after their win over Manchester City, Manchester United and Newcastle United. 6 points between them. The form guide. West Ham right down there, 20th at the moment. Look at Manchester United though, 2 wins from their last 6, 14th place. The top half is most interesting. That's where we find both Newcastle 6th and Coventry City in 5th place. Liverpool top. Blackburn Rovers, what a recovery they've made over the last 5-6 games or so. But Coventry City in form, and with everything going their way at the bottom yesterday, that's a real incentive to win this one, Steve, isn't it?
Well, it is an incentive to win it, but I think they're really going to struggle against a Newcastle side who are going to be up for it today. They haven't been going so well lately, but nobody seems to be really closing the gap on them, and I think Newcastle will win today.
Because they haven't been going so well away from home, is this a good time or a bad time to get them? Are they due one, what do you think?
I think they're going to win it today. I think it's a bad time for Coventry to get them. Even though Coventry are being played so well, I think Newcastle are just going to be too strong for them today.
And this time last year, of course, Barry, you were in that dressing room when things started to go wrong, particularly away from home.
Yeah.
Now, how much did that play on the minds of the personnel at the club at the time?
Well, it does affect you because, I mean, especially this season, Newcastle are unstoppable at home, and the form is brilliant, destroying teams at home, demoralising them. But when they come away from home, they just seem to be slipping off the rails for one reason or another. But I think, I mean, it is worrying. They'll be worried about history repeating itself, and they'll be desperate to do something about it. They get a good result today, they get a win today. and it stamps on everybody's head. They've slipped up yesterday, and it'll be a great chance for Newcastle. Won't win the Championship today, but they'll go a long way to not encouraging the other teams who's trying to catch them.
Well, it's a big day this for John Solarco, who could be forgiven for thinking, if only, but he's not. Nick Collins spoke to him earlier.
Don't look back is John Solarco's motto, and he's certainly enjoying life in the West Midlands. But if circumstances had been a little different this summer, he could be lining up for Newcastle against Coventry this afternoon. As it was, Solarco made his Sky Blues debut at Newcastle on the opening day of the season, after his proposed transfer to Tyneside failed to go ahead at the last minute.
The deal at Newcastle fell through, and here I am at Coventry, and I'm delighted to be. I'm very happy. You know, it's exciting playing this team. You know, Ron, the style we play, they give me plenty of the ball, and I'm really enjoying it. And I think, as I say, when we're firing, we're just as good as anyone.
But what about the thought that perhaps you could have been at the top of the table instead?
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice to play in a side that wins every week and is in a position to win things. And but I can't look at things like that. Maybe that's to come later on in my career. But again, I have to say, I think that we're close to that here. You know, I think just a few people in the right places, and we could look to be winning things here.
So no regrets about not taking the Newcastle option then?
There's no point having any regrets. I always try and be positive in life. You know, it's no point saying what could have been. I mean, Newcastle made a decision there, and here I am, and I'll just do the best I can for Coventry City.
Solarco's coolness in putting away a last-minute penalty at Bolton 2 weeks ago could prove a big moment in Coventry's battle for survival. Solarco knows all too well about the pressures at the bottom, having gone down with Palace last season.
No one likes to be in that situation, but I think you just have to be mentally strong. But again, I think the key is to try and get out of it early, because I don't want to go into the last 2-3 games needing wins or relying on other teams to fall to keep yourselves up. I mean, last year, I don't really know what went wrong, because we had a good side at Palace, and I thought it would be unfortunate we just couldn't get the goals. But here, it seems to be a different kind of spirit, and I don't think for 1 minute anyone here thinks we're going to go down, and I certainly can't see it. And I think we finish in a nice, comfortable position this year. I think we're in a great position to really try and do something next season.
Solarco was also on target in the FA Cup at Plymouth last week, but he's under no illusions about how tough the encounter with Kevin Keegan's side is going to be.
Well, they're a phenomenal side. I mean, when they're on fire, I think they're the best side in the country at the moment. But it isn't easy, as it's proving for them, and obviously we're going to be another obstacle they've got to get over. It's a key game for them because they need it in Championship race, but we need the points just as badly. So it's going to be a tough one. They've got good players everywhere, and Kevin Keegan proved he's not afraid to go out and buy. He's got the resources to do it. So it's nice for them, but we're going to make it hard for them. We're going to get our tactics right and give them a good game.
And instead of thinking, if only I'd joined Newcastle, Solarco is happy to be plotting their downfall this afternoon.
Yes, John Solarco, who lines up for Coventry against Newcastle. It's live here on Super Sunday, and Nick Collins is waiting with the team news. Hi, Nick.
Richard, hello. Well, Steve Howie's been ruled out for Newcastle because of a hamstring injury. But Coventry City are able to field an unchanged side, perhaps a reflection of their improved playing fortunes, that they keep the side that won at Plymouth in the FA Cup last week. So, as I say, Coventry City unchanged. This is how they'll line up. Not too many surprises there. Dublin and Whelan, of course, up front. The good news for Coventry, Peter Endlove on the substitutes bench. He hasn't played since early December. He's fit again, raring to go, and, as I say, on the bench. On to Newcastle United, just the one change. No Steve Howie, as we've said, because of that hamstring injury. Lee Clark comes into the side. He was a substitute against Arsenal in the League Cup in midweek. He starts today. Philippe Albert's shaken off flu, and Rob Lee has recovered from an Achilles tendon knock. So just the one change for Newcastle. And on the bench, Chris Holland, who's yet to appear in the Premiership this season for Newcastle, Robbie Elliott and Paul Kitson. Richard, that's the team news. Back to you.
Nick, thank you. Steve Stone and Barry Venison, our guests this afternoon. I was just thinking there, Barry, it gives you some idea of Ron Atkinson's philosophy on life. When 3-4 weeks back, everybody thought he needed a defender. He spent $2 million on Noel Whelan, and all of a sudden their season's alight, isn't it? What do you make of Noel Whelan?
Well, I think Coventry's strength is in their attack, the forward-running players. I've played against Noel Whelan, and I'm sure you're going to show the clip. And
we are.
He's embarrassed better players than me, but no, he's got a great touch. He's strong in the air, and he's surprisingly quick. He's very young, and the more experience he gets in, I mean, he showed a great touch there. The more experience he gets in the Premier League, the better he's going to be.
This was the equaliser against Southampton.
This is where the converted midfielder comes back and shows his defensive frailties. I used to be able to tackle it, well, maybe not. Yeah, but he showed, whatever you say about our defensive mess-up, he showed great feet there, and he's finished it well as well.
But was it a surprise to you that Coventry went out and spent £2 million on someone like Whelan when everybody was suggesting they needed defenders?
That's what I'm saying. Their strength is their attack, so you think if they're quite happy with the way they're attacking that, they want to strengthen their defence. But like you said, that's flamboyant wrong, and who's to say he's wrong? Because the way to beat Newcastle is to attack them, and specifically for this game today, I think that's the way to go on it, get at Newcastle's throats.
We did see that recently at Wimbledon. That's what they did, and got a 3-3 out of it in a smashing match. Newcastle live on Super Sunday this afternoon at Highfield Road, the home of Coventry City, who in recent weeks have started to put some results together. It's a big game for both of them this today. Coventry just outside of the drop zone. Newcastle 6 clear at the top with 2 games in hand. After the break, we'll be checking out their form so far this season.
Vote now. It's time to choose your Sky Sports Champions of 1995. Panasonic honors Sky's Champions of Sport 95 awards will bring together the biggest ever lineup of sporting stars and celebrities. Be part of this special event by voting for your very own Champions of 1995. See your Sky TV guide or fast text page 197 to cast your vote.
Hello, Sky. Hello, birds. Hello, sheep. Isn't it a beautiful day? Hello, Mr. Frog. I bet that if I were to give you a kiss, you'd turn into a handsome sheep shearer.
Oh, yes! Castle mine is made with golden crust orbs.
Got a sister, have you?
Experienced hoppers wouldn't give up Castle-made 4X for any other lager.
My big mates invited me round for dinner.
Very tasty.
New pepperami, wide boy.
Birds do it, bees do it, even educated fleas do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love.
There's one building society which is always helping people prepare for the future.
Even educated.
In fact, we help more people save more money for more things than anyone else. A daughter's wedding, for example. Get a little extra help from the Halifax.
Here is a painkiller that has the extra strength you want, yet is gentle on you and your stomach. Panadol Extra.
Let's put a flake in this break.
The Cadbury's time out. I'm looking for a car that's sort of shaped. Kind of a bit more.
There, wait, there. Ah, perfect.
The new Hyundai Elantra, the curvy car.
Kev, we've been going out for 2 years now.
Yeah?
Can you tell me what you really want?
Well, a KFC chicken fillet burger. A whole mouth-watering chicken breast coated with the Colonel's secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices. What have I said now? Perhaps she's going to get me one.
The KFC chicken fillet burger. It's finger-licking good.
Play talking telephone numbers with tomorrow's Daily Mirror.
Check.
Get your free talking telephone numbers game card.
Check.
Play along live with the show, and every day with the Daily Mirror, there's £50,000 to be won.
Big fat check.
Play talking telephone numbers live tomorrow and every day only with the Daily Mirror.
It's Highfield Road for us this afternoon. Super Sunday features Coventry City and Newcastle United. 6 clear Newcastle with 2 games in hand. Coventry haven't beaten Newcastle or scored against them in the last 4. And Newcastle have got a pretty good record here as well. They've lost only 2 of the last 10 played here. 3 of those 5 wins have come in the last 6 visits. Well, these two, in fact, you might recall, met on the opening day, but it was a fruitless trip for Coventry. Les Ferdinand scored on his debut to seal a 3-0 win for Newcastle. He scored again against Nottingham Forest. That ensured a 3rd successive draw for the Sky Blues. After a defeat at Middlesbrough, Coventry were hammered at Ewood Park. Shearer grabbed his 100th goal for Blackburn and then went on to complete his first hat-trick of the season. The Sky Blues were 3 games without a goal now, and Guy Whittingham won this one for Sheffield Wednesday at Highfield Road. They were beaten by Leeds and Spurs before making the trip to Loftus Road. Simon Barker put Queen's Park Rangers ahead. Dublin rescued Coventry.
Solako on the Coventry left. Great goal. Dion Dublin. Classic header.
3 days later, Manchester United were at Highfield Road. Brian McClare's first put United 2 ahead. His second of the game completed a 4-goal rout, which sent Ron Atkinson's side to the bottom of the table. And now there was some speculation about the manager's future as well. A return to Hillsborough seemed to be going well for Big Ron. Dublin gave Coventry the lead. Wednesday equalised, but Dublin restored the advantage, only for Coventry to be pegged back again. But Dublin wasn't finished.
Getting the cross in, and it's there from Dublin. It's the hat-trick for Dion Dublin.
But Coventry still couldn't hold on to the lead. De Gruyter pulled Wednesday level, then Mark Bright won it for them. But they bounced back to thump the champions at Highfield Road. David Boost got the opener. Dublin scored in the second half to increase the lead. And Undlov's solo goal capped off a fine display. Atkinson then brought in Noel Whelan from Leeds. He made his debut against Everton, but it was Boost again who got the opener. Whelan marked the day with the winner. He scored again at Burnden Park. And then played a big part in Coventry's last-minute winner. That led to a penalty. John Solako scored. Back here, Southampton went ahead through Neil Heaney in Coventry's last league game. But Whelan got a beauty to salvage a draw. So after taking 7 points from 9, Big Ron will demand more of the same today. Yeah, Coventry City 3 unbeaten now. They haven't lost in 4 here at Highfield Road, and that is a huge improvement on their form earlier in the season. But they've conceded 18 at home. Only 3 teams have let in more. Leading scorers 11 for Dublin, 3 apiece for Undlov and Whelan. Whelan with 3 out of the 4 league games that he's played for Coventry. The average attendance, 17,000, just over 17,000. That's up 3,000 on last season. 32 booked and 3 sent off. That's how Boost dismissed in the FA Cup, of course, last Saturday. Last 3 league games, beat Everton here 2-1. Won at Bolton in the last minute by 2-1, and drew with Southampton last time out at Highfield Road. And Ron Atkinson is waiting to talk to us with Nick.
We're on 2 wins and a draw from your last 3 league games. Do you feel you've turned the corner?
Well, I'd say we've turned the corner. I think what we've done, we've had, I think we've been rewarded for our performances. I mean, earlier on we might have won far more games than we have done. Things didn't go for us. But certainly we've never lost faith in the way we've played. We've felt we've played well for a long period, and hopefully now we're starting getting the results that maybe our performances deserve.
How much do you look forward to games like this when you're taking on the league leaders?
Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, on our own ground, we're in a situation where I suppose you'd say we've nothing to lose. We're the underdogs. Most people fancy Newcastle to win the Championship. Most people fancy them to come here and beat us today. We don't.
Noel Whelan's made a very big impact in his short time so far. How pleased are you with his performances?
Oh, good. Oh, he's played very well. And, you know, he's been, when I say he's been fortunate, he's deserved it. But one of the nice things is he's also turned his performances into goals. You know, he hasn't got that stigma of having to wait for his first goal. He's got 3 already.
And what sort of a boost is it having Peter Unlove back on the substitutes bench?
Well, I must admit, I never thought I'd see the day when I'd be manager of Coventry, certainly when I came here, that I'd have Peter Unlove fit and not have to put him in the side straight away.
That really is a reflection of the way the side are playing, is it?
Well, it's a reflection of the way the front players are playing. I mean, we think our front three, when they're on song, and they've been on song quite a while, is as good as anything in the country.
All right, Ron, thank you, and good luck.
Ron Atkinson with Nick Collins. We're in the company today of Steve Stone and Barry Venison. Steve, Nottingham Forest were here earlier in the season and got a 1-1 as we saw. Were there signs that afternoon that Coventry were going to struggle this season?
Not so much on that afternoon, actually. They played quite well, and I think they deserved to win on the day, but we scraped a 1-1. But I've seen them on telly since that, and at the back, really, it was becoming a bit of a joke every week. I mean, they were letting 3 and 4 in, and it didn't look good. And it's gone a bit better since, on it, the last couple of weeks.
Well, the last 2 or 3 weeks it has.
All right.
There's a great deal of expectation when Ron Atkinson came to Coventry, Barry. He spent money, because he spends money wherever he goes, it seems. But having said all of that, the quality of the player here is a good deal better than it was. But let's have a look at his dealings. A fair number of ins and outs. Whelan, Solarco, Telfer, Burrows, Shaw and Williams. The others between them, 1.5 million.
Yep.
And he's brought in money for Presley, Marsh, Flynn and Robertson. Again, 500,000 on the others that have gone.
Well, Ron's obviously decided when he's took over.
So in the marketplace, that's, sorry Barry, that's bought 9.25, sold 2.25. He's 7 million down.
7 million down. I mean, there is a price to pay for goals, and that's what Ron Atkinson's team's been renowned for. They've always been very positive. He'll have come into the job, he'll have tried to sort out the wheat from the chaff, and that's his decision. That's who he thinks is surplus to requirements. He's had an idea what he wants, what type of play he wants to bring into the club, and that's what we're seeing out here now. He's just said, on reflection, you can leave Peter Unlove out. When he first came to the club, Peter Unlove was probably one of the mainstays of the team.
So is he beginning to get it right here?
I think so, and with the influence of a very influential player here, Dion Dublin. I mean, I think he's been a great buy for Coventry, and if they can keep him fit and get the younger players buzzing around him, I think that's where they'll get the benefit. But I think Big Ron's on the right lines. It's not going to happen overnight, and they are on the wrong end of the table, and it's a horrible little tight zone down there. And as opposed to performances, it's going to take points. We're in the same position. It's going to take points to get out there, and Ron knows that.
Well, Newcastle United unveiled something like £14 million worth of new talent on the opening day, but it was one of the old boys that got the first goal. That was Robert Lee, and he's been enjoying a marvellous season. Beardsley got a second from the penalty spot before Ferdinand, of course, rounded things off. Wins over Bolton, Sheffield Wednesday and Middlesbrough followed, which made it a perfect start. 4 wins from 4. They lost for the first time at Southampton, Jim Magilton scoring the game's only goal. They then beat Chelsea and Everton before Ferdinand returned to haunt his former teammates at Loftus Road.
And now Newcastle on the burst. Can Ferdinand outpace Maddox? He can!
Dicchio scored to make it 2-2, but Rangers gave the points away.
Oh, a terrible mix-up, and Reddy's given a golden chance. And Keith Gillespie says thank you very much.
They hammered Wimbledon 6-1 before going back to the capital to take on Tottenham. Chris Armstrong scored the game's first goal. Ginola equalised just after half-time.
A real chance for Newcastle and the Frenchman here, 1-1.
Kevin Keegan welcomed Roy Evans and Liverpool to St James's Park, where Ferdinand got them off to a great start.
Comes here for Keith Gillespie. And it's in. Flying in was Ferdinand.
Rush equalised, but Newcastle won it late on.
Right, heading away again. Only as far as Lee. It's a great try. The goalkeeper's lost it. Newcastle have scored through Steve Watson.
Next were the champions. Robert Lee scored the game's only goal. But they were beginning to falter away from home. Tommy Johnson scored for Aston Villa. That made it 1-0. Les Ferdinand rescued them again. Next at St James's were Leeds.
Dean, 1-0 lead. This is Lee, Ferdinand in support. They're looking for Ferdinand, and Luca just lost it, and the ball is turned in, and Peter Beardsley has scored for Newcastle.
That win rounded off a tough month for the leaders. We then saw them live at Wimbledon.
Enthralling entertainment at Selhurst Park. And Ferdinand, another goal.
That made it 2-2.
Here is Les Ferdinand. Past Perry. Beardsley wants it cut back. It goes instead for Gillespie. It goes in. Kimball. Got it into the danger area again. Harper's attacking it. Holdsworth! 3-3!
They lost at Stamford Bridge. Dan Petrescu settled this one. But they were 10 points ahead of Manchester United when the two met at Old Trafford. Almost inevitably, Andy Cole gave the Reds the lead.
It's Giggs to Cole!
One down, and then they lost Keith Gillespie. He's been out ever since and will be for at least another 4 weeks.
Roy Keane for Manchester United. That's absolutely wonderful.
That wasn't Newcastle United out there tonight. That was a shadow of Newcastle United for me.
A bad day, but they had another good win at home over Arsenal. Ginola scored in the opening 2 minutes. And Ferdinand scored his 99th league goal in England to make sure of the points. But away form let them down again in midweek. Arsenal knocked them out of the Coca-Cola Cup and Ginola was sent off. So it's Coventry today. Can Newcastle bring some of that St James's Park form with them? Yes, 11 out of 11 in the league at St James's Park. They last won away from home at Queen's Park Rangers 3 months ago. Since then, they've drawn 3 and lost 2. Their away form, though, isn't so bad. Only 3 teams have done better on their travels. Chelsea with 16 points, Villa with 18 and Tottenham with 20. Leading scorers, Les Ferdinand. A year ago this week, Andy Cole was on his way to Manchester United. Ferdinand, the new man in the number 9 jersey, has got 19 this season. Lee, 7, Beardsley and Ginola, 4 each. 24 booked, 1 sent off, John Beresford. And the last 3 league games beat Nottingham Forest by 3-1. Beaten at Old Trafford, we saw it live, of course, 2-0. And they beat Arsenal at home by 2-0. A line for long Newcastle fan Steve Stone is with us today. So too Barry Venison. I mean, they are your team, Steve, aren't they? Simple as that. So is it silly of me to ask you, can they win the title?
I think they'll win the title without actually having anybody challenge them, really. If somebody doesn't do it soon, they're just going to run away with it.
Is he one of the reasons why, David Ginola?
He is, definitely, yeah. I mean, they've got, not just him, but they've got so many attacking options, so many match winners in the team. It's frightening when you play against them, really. I mean, they're breaking and you think, God, anybody could score, yeah.
How do you think he'll react to being sent off at Highbury the other night in the Coca-Cola Cup tie?
Well, he's got to come out and think, I've got to show these what I'm made of now. He can't just hide and sit on that wing and do nothing. He's got to come out and show people what he's made of and show them what a good player he is.
You think Ginola here will respond the right way, Barry?
I think so, because I'm sure Kevin Keegan will be being close to his side the last few days and saying all the positive things in his ear.
Is that typical of Keegan?
Yeah, he's very good man management. He gets the best out of flair players like that. I think it's because he's worked with the best and he's worked abroad, and he knows what it's like to be a foreign player, you know, a player in a foreign country. You know, you can be left on your own, left to your own thoughts, and it's sometimes difficult to communicate. So he'll be beside him, and I think, you know, I fancy him to shine today. I thought you played in spells very well against Arsenal, but I thought Arsenal handled them very well, and they were very aggressive with him, and obviously it doesn't suit him. But when people see that he doesn't like it, they're going to do it even more.
Yes, of course they are. Lifelong supporter, as I mentioned, Steve, it must be quite an afternoon for you to be sitting next to one of your schoolboy heroes.
There's a few out on the pitch. I don't know about Barry.
Who was your favourite?
Biazzi was obviously my favourite. Around 82 to 84 he was there, and, with Keegan and Waddle as well. And it was a great time. They got promoted, and I really enjoyed watching them up there.
And can you believe the transformation that's taken place at the club since Kevin Keegan and Beardsley here, really, in his second spell with Newcastle, arrived at St James's Park?
When you looked at the team in the 80s and they weren't going anywhere, they didn't have any money, the board was squabbling. All of a sudden John Hall's took over and he's done wonders for the club. And I'm really pleased he has. I'll go and watch a good team now.
I'm glad you know him as John Hall. Sir John, we know him as. You must be closer to him than the rest of us. You really must. OK, let's go and hear from Kevin Keegan. He is with Nick Collins.
Well, Kevin, is too much being made of your recent away form, or is it something that's starting to become a worry?
Well, I think, we started off so well, didn't we? We won the first 4 games with it. So if you look at it in that context, it has deteriorated. If you compare it with everyone else's, including like Man United, who are second, it's better than theirs. So, it's like everything, I think. If you're top of the league in this country or any country, people look at what you're doing, and everything's analysed, and people have a lot of opinions. Everyone talks about it. It's like being a big player. If you think people like Paul Gascoigne can escape publicity, if you're a big player, players will talk about you. And I just think we're victims of that, if anything. But the away form, actually, if we continued that away form for the rest of the season, it'd be good enough. It really would.
How much of a morale booster was it, yesterday's results?
Yeah, I think the results, when they go for you, just give you a little boost, But at the end of the day, your own results are the only ones that matter. But I went to watch Liverpool play at Sheffield Wednesday, and they're possibly lucky to get a point there. And I think Liverpool will still be in this championship race. I didn't see the Man United game, obviously just saw some clips, but, there's no easy games in this league. We're going to find that probably here today. Everyone thinks, oh, if you're going to be champions, you've possibly got to win at places like this. But, they've got other aspirations. They've got a fight of their own to stay in this league, and that's what the fascination of the Premier League is.
Talking of morale boosters, David Ginola has said that he's pledged his immediate future to you. I mean, is that a real step in the right direction from your point of view?
Well, definitely. I mean, the letters that have come in the last 3 days, not from Newcastle fans, but from all over the country, to say how they thought he was treated. I mean, I think we've been all down that road. That's gone. I think Mr. Ashby, who's a top-class referee, had a bad day. Like I have bad days as manager. You possibly have bad days in your job with the TV. And he made a couple of mistakes, which in the end, were howlers, I thought. But it doesn't stop him being a top-class referee. I still think he's one of the best, and he's just got to go out and forget it. Like we've got to forget what happened at Highbury on Wednesday. That's life goes on, and it's the people who don't think they make mistakes who I worry about. I think he's one who will accept that. Certainly, to book David Ginola for getting tripped by Winterburn was a bad decision.
How up are the players for this one, then?
They seem very, very up for it. I mean, they've been like that all season, to be fair. But, it's very, very hard for me as manager at the moment. I mean, if I start telling them just how big a game today is again, you feel like you're saying it every week, because every game's big if you're top of the league. So I've just told them to go out and enjoy it today, start knocking it around again. Let's get back to basics. We have lost that a little bit away from home. Our home form has been nothing short of sensational. But, I think to be champions of this country, you've got to travel as well. And I'm hoping they're going to give me the perfect answer, and all the critics a perfect answer in the next 90 minutes.
All right, fingers crossed. Kevin, thank you very much.
Cross.
He's quality, isn't he? Kevin Keegan, the manager of Newcastle United, the league leaders, 6 clear. As I've said, 2 games in hand. All right, recently it hasn't been so good, but the away form isn't that bad. Don't run away with the idea that it is. Coventry are the hosts, and after the break we'll be talking about 2 players who need just 1 for a ton.
Bobby Charlton and his guest Peter Barnes enjoy some classic encounters between Manchester City and Manchester United from 1979.
That's a goal to grace any derby match.
Bobby Charlton's Football Scrapbook, tomorrow at 10:30 on Sky Sports Go.
Relax, relax. Empty your mind of everyday stress,
and enjoy our therapy session. Sit back and enjoy our therapy session. For a longer session, call now. For a longer session, call now.
Woke up this morning. Feeling a bit below par, actually.
Below par, actually. Hello, Talking Pages.
Yeah, I'm in Glasgow.
Glasgow.
Need a locksmith,
Locksmith.
a suit hire.
And a taxi to London.
When you need help to make life run a little smoother, remember, Talking Pages is just a free phone call away. I do! Talking Pages. Call free 24 hours a day on 0800 600 900.
To introduce Walker's new, tastier salt and vinegar flavour, they're calling them Salt and Vinegar.
Presenting a feature-length X-File that you were never supposed to see. Agent Fox Mulder has the evidence.
They've always denied that these files even exist.
And the government will do anything to get it back. It's the X-File they thought was buried. Discover the unopened file. A special edition X-File available to buy only on video.
Play talking telephone numbers with tomorrow's Daily Mirror.
Check.
Get your free talking telephone numbers game card.
Check.
Play along live with the show, and every day with the Daily Mirror, there's £50,000 to be won.
Big fat check.
Play talking telephone numbers live tomorrow and every day only with the Daily Mirror.
And this could be the big one. Oh, and he's hit the bar!
Snickers Hunger Buster, the biggest ever.
To relax, call 0990 200 200.
Whoa! If I decided to go up against you, I mean, what chance would I have had?
A gambler. Absolutely none whatsoever. Who'll do just about anything to win.
Was that fast?
Mel Gibson, Jodie Foster, Maverick, premiering Thursday on the Movie Channel.
Super Sunday from Sky Sports. From Highfield Road today, Coventry City against Newcastle United. Both need the win. And the bookies fancy Newcastle to get it. Their odds on 11-4 Coventry, 9-4 the draw. First to score, no surprise there either. Ferdinand at 11-4. 7-1 Dublin and Whelan. Further back, Ginola and Lee of Newcastle United. There were some doubts about him, but he plays. And how about Boost at 28-1, who's got the opening goal here in 2 of the last 3 games against Blackburn and Everton. And won a couple £100. I think he had a £5 on himself to get the first goal against Blackburn. A lot of things have changed in the Premiership up and down the country. Coventry have been rebuilding. In the far corner there, which I think there are plans for a new dressing room area ultimately, is at the moment a hospitality tower. You may have noticed at Twickenham down the years. It's here now. It is now at Highfield Road. Right, 2 players this afternoon. Need 1 for a ton. Peter Beardsley on 99 league goals for Newcastle United. And Les Ferdinand, 99 league goals in England. Barry Venison, you've played with Peter Beardsley. How do you rate him?
Peter Beardsley went through a spell in his career where he's been criticised for not scoring enough goals. But when you look, he's one off scoring 100. And over his career, he's been consistent. I mean, he doesn't score average goals. We've seen here a few clips. He scores great goals. He's got different kinds of qualities. He's got quick feet. He's brilliant at finding space. He can attack people. He can throw a dummy. He's got a famous dummy. I'm not sure if he meant that, but knowing Peter, he probably did.
He said he did.
He
said those people who know me will know
he would have meant it. But he's got power as well for a little fella. He's got a lot of power, and he can strike with his right, or he can come in on his left. And we've seen him again. I think it was against Everton 2 seasons ago when he came with his left foot and rifled one.
Now Les Ferdinand here, Steve. I mean, right now, Alan Shearer is England's #1 because he's wearing the jersey. I think he's got one more goal right now in the Premiership as well than Ferdinand. But what sort of transition has he made, leaving Queen's Park Rangers to go to St James's Park? A long line of famous #9s they've had there. How well has he done?
Well, he's done superb, hasn't he? At Queen's Park Rangers, he was in a team and scoring goals every year consistently. But he's went there now with better players at Newcastle. And I think that's made the difference. He's getting supplied with some great crosses, and that's made the difference.
I think it's very important that Newcastle keep Les Ferdinand fit. They haven't got a real direct replacement. This time last year, Andy Cole was sold to Manchester United, and I'm not sure if it coincided with the bad away form, but we didn't win many games after that. Coley was never really replaced. Les Ferdinand is Andy Cole's replacement, and he's done very well. But if he gets a knock and he's going to be missing for 2 or 3 games, I think he's one booking off suspension as well. It'll be interesting to see how they cope without Les Ferdinand because he's been outstanding for them.
Well, the importance of today's game is not lost on the supporters of both teams.
I think Noel Whelan was a great boy and he's going to do it for us today.
John Slager's been a good boy for just under 2 million, so hopefully he'll do the job today against the club he wanted to sign for.
The football the City have been playing has been good football. There's been some very exciting games. There's been several games that City have lost that I felt they shouldn't have lost. And there's certainly players worth seeing. Like Noel Wheeler has made a tremendous difference in the team. He's fitted in so well, and it's certainly worth paying him money to come and see them.
It's the first time in the club's history that they've ever spent that sort of money. And it's taken time for the players to gel together, but it looks like it's finally paying off.
He's bought wisely. I think the players have needed a bit of time to get together. And I think they're showing signs now of having an understanding.
I think today, if they can certainly get 3 points, I actually believe that the Championship's over. There's far too many games, too many points to pull back.
I think they'll do well. They've got a lot to put all the critics right about their away form. I think this is a good chance to prove everybody wrong.
If we won today, it's probably going to make us the champions.
I think we need to bounce back. We've had a couple of bad performances. Chelsea, we were poor. Arsenal, I thought that the media did us down. I thought we were better than we were made out to be. But we've certainly got to come back today, and it'll be great to finish the day 9 points clear.
And if they win today, the Championship's over. I don't think too many at St James's Park would be talking in those terms. OK, Steve Stone, Barry Venison with us this afternoon. Barry's a regular. First touch of the ball for Steve Stone as we play ball. Right, it's action this week from the 2 teams on view this afternoon. Coventry against Newcastle here at Highfield Road. Andy Cole on the ball. Where does it go? A, B or C? Where does that ball end up? That's what we need to know this afternoon. A, B or C, top prize £200. The telephone lines are open, 0891 700 550. As usual, 0891 700 550. £200, the top prize. And where, Steve, are the points going this afternoon? Any doubt in your mind?
No doubt at all, Newcastle. No doubt at all. No doubt at all.
Why?
I just think they haven't been playing so well away from home, and I think I think Keegan's going to get them up for this one, and it's about time they won a game away from home, and I think
so the law of averages as much as anything else.
That as well, yeah, but I think they just need to win it. You know, I think the players are looking and think, you know, we've got a chance here to get such a gap there. Man, you might even start thinking, hang on, this may be over.
Barry, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll come out and be very positive, Newcastle. It's been a week of turmoil for them, and I think they'll come out and show the nation. They're obviously feeling a little bit of the criticism that's been thrown at them by Kevin Keegan's interview.
I was just going to say that. Is it different when you're top? Do you start to feel the pressure? Yeah, well, in a way that you haven't when you're chasing?
Managed to get themselves a great reputation without actually winning anything. The Leeds and Blackburn, they've been a victim of their own success in recent years when they've won the Championship. Newcastle are that far ahead that the Scalps, the team that everybody wants to beat, they've got to respect, like Manchester United and Liverpool's got, without actually winning anything. So it's difficult from wherever they go. But I think they'll come out today, and I think they'll be positive, and I fancy them for the win. Hopefully, from a Southampton point of view, they do. I don't like Coventry to get beat.
OK, let's join our match commentators. As usual on a Super Sunday, it's Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Hello, Richard. Hello again, everyone. Andy, you've won the Championship. Do you start feeling the pressure in January?
Not now, Martin. I think that's the key. I think in about 6 weeks' time, then when you're so close, you can almost touch it. I remember talking to Alan Shearer at Anfield recently. I said, when did you start as a team to feel it? He said, Andy, about 6 weeks from the end of the season. And that's when you really begin to feel the pressure. I think now they're OK. I don't think they'll be feeling the pressure at all.
Well, Kevin Keegan says that Newcastle have been told to just go out and knock the ball around. Great motivation and management, I'm sure, but Coventry will have ideas of their own, and this is their team. It's the same side that won at Plymouth in the Cup last week. Centre-back David Boost, who was sent off in that Cup tie, he doesn't start his suspension until next Saturday. Noel Whelan has made such a good start since leaving Leeds that although the talented Peter Unlove is fit again after a 4-game absence with an eye problem, he's only brought back to the bench.
Well, if Coventry are going to win today or get a positive result, then the back four have got to play really well, particularly the two centre-backs, Boost and Shaw. If they can keep a rein on Ferdinand, on Beardsley, then they may be able to go from there. But this side's talent, I think, lies ahead of the back four. From Richardson, who's their holding player, he'll just sit in front there and protect it. They've got Paul Telfer, who does like to get forward, and watch for him coming in from this side to help Dublin and Whelan, when Salako on this left with natural width, I'm sure will be asked to provide ammunition in there for two people in Dublin and Whelan, who I think can really trouble Newcastle's defence in the air. Also, Paul Williams is one who I think loves to drive forward. So it's a side that's geared to attack. The one thing I have a doubt about this side is, can it defend?
Selection far from straightforward for Kevin Keegan. Keith Gillespie joined on the injury list by Steve Howie. He has a hamstring problem. But Rob Lee does play, but he's not fully mobile because of a persistent Achilles tendon injury. So they return to a back four. Lee Clark regains his place in midfield. And Peter Beardsley is being asked today to push up as much as possible alongside Les Ferdinand.
It was interesting to hear Kevin talk just before him and Nick Collins about getting back to basics. And that is very much what this formation's about. He has tinkered with three centre-backs today. When Howie's absence, it's Peacock and Albert who will be asked to play there, and a natural back four. Ahead of that, the problem area has been here. They really have missed Keith Gillespie. Steve Watson's again asked to fill that role. He's a different type of player. Doesn't, I think, possess the real threat that Gillespie does, but will do a very good job for them. It's back to the usual in the centre of midfield. Lee Clark will be asked, you be the holding player. Robert Lee, you be the one to drive forward. Ahead of Beardsley, ahead of Ferdinand. Ginola posing a threat, not only down that way, but when he comes in onto his right side, he can crack the ball at goal. But these two hold the key for Newcastle. If they're on song, if they're firing in all cylinders, well, they're fit enough to break any team down.
What do you expect of Ginola after his burning sense of injustice? Not for the red card, we should hasten to add, but for the circumstances that made him see red.
I think a positive response, Martin. He's a very experienced player, not only at club level, but at international level. And I don't think it'll be the first time that, having watched David Ginola play this year, that he'll have felt hard done by. I'm sure it's probably something that's been with him throughout his career. But I liked the quick way that he said he had no intention of leaving Newcastle or England. And like Kevin said before, and as a football fan, I'm absolutely delighted with that. It's a one-off thing that happened to him, I feel. And he'll be thinking about all the good things that have happened to him since he's been wearing the black and white of Newcastle, and not the one injustice that he feels he suffered at Highbury in midweek.
But Ali Pickering, who's got that defensive place on the right-hand side for Coventry, his work defensively is going to be under scrutiny, I'm sure, from today's referee, Peter Jones. Two sides with so much at stake. But both were well served by yesterday's results. Good news for Newcastle, with Manchester United and Liverpool in particular dropping points. Coventry were cheered by defeats for Southampton, Wimbledon, Manchester City and Queen's Park Rangers. But for both sides now the chance for self-improvement.
But it's a bit like Kevin Keegan said to you, we won't win the title with the points we've got. So although yesterday was a good day for us, we've got to do some of the work ourselves from now on. And that's when he's hoping it starts today.
Here come Coventry, hoping to continue a climb. They've been lifted by 7 points from 3 games over the holiday period. How Newcastle would love to go back to the northeast tonight, 9 points ahead of the field. John Salako, who just got a glimpse of, who so nearly became a Newcastle player in the summer. but it's a key contest affecting both ends of the table. Newcastle have had some traumatic times on their travels, but today there's a real opportunity for them to stretch away in the championship race. But as league leaders, everyone wants to beat them, and Coventry have their chance after the break.
Digital PC proudly presents I am neither man nor woman, neither god nor demon, neither song nor tale. I am no one. I am Legion. I am Saltimbanco. The all-new show of Cirque du Soleil, playing at the Royal Albert Hall. Buy your tickets now.
Winter hair health advice.
You know how much fun winter can be, but constantly going from cold to hot can leave hair dry and fly away. To help your hair get through the winter, I recommend Pantene Pro V. Its pro-vitamin B5 not only nourishes the root, but penetrates to the very tip, leaving your hair so healthy looking it shines, however long the winter may be.
Pantene Pro V, daily treatment for healthy looking hair.
No stronger remedy for cold and flu symptoms has ever been released without prescription. New Lemsip Power Plus.
At Mercedes-Benz, we often find new ideas by looking at our cars from a different point of view. It's how we developed rain-sensitive windscreen wipers, created our most aerodynamic body to date, designed the first safety belt to work specifically with an airbag, made wheels that can work independently of each other, and produced our most efficient catalytic converter ever, the new E-Class from Mercedes-Benz.
That was a good Daily Star, Ed. Could have done with a bit more football in it. Yeah.
Halifax will want to rub salt into the wounded Warrington, who must still be hurting after their record defeat. But to put that behind them, the Wire will seize this chance to restore some pride against the hard-hitting Halifax. The Big League, tonight at 7, only on Sky Sports. Sky Sports with Ford Escort takes you to the heart of the action. Coventry City versus Newcastle United, live. Ford Escort, Super Sunday.
Don't forget we're at Sunderland Tuesday night. This afternoon, Super Sunday, it's Highfield Road, Coventry City against Newcastle United. Our match commentators, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Well, it is a crucial stage in Newcastle's season. Defeat today wouldn't be totally disastrous, but it might just increase some doubts within the camp. But think what a win would mean. 9 points clear of Manchester United, plus a game in hand. And the feeling, Andy, that a bad patch, such as it's been, might just be behind them.
Oh, it wouldn't half, Mark. I mean, how good that would feel to be going into February with that sort of lead in the Championship. I think this is a huge game when we're talking about the Championship, because I think there's one or two chasing. I'm not saying Manchester United maybe in lower, but certainly one or two maybe on the fringes who will feel 9 points in a game in hand. Well, that's just a bit too much for us.
Jones back with us after taking charge of the very entertaining third-round FA Cup tie at the baseball ground last Sunday. The pitch showing perhaps more signs of wear and tear than some in the Premiership. It's very divided, as you can see, in colour and a little bit in texture as well. Bumpier on this near side, where the green of the grass is a little bit misleading. Leon Dublin and Noel Whelan, who struck up a partnership very quickly for Coventry City. And Les Ferdinand and Newcastle United raring to go. Coventry in their famous sky blue. And Whelan gets there first against Peacock. He's got help from Pickering, but he can't pick him out. And Ginola, who got a terrific welcome from the travelling Toon Army when the teams came out. The flag is up for offside, and we talked about Peter Beardsley playing further forward. He was too far forward there.
Well, that's the kind of thing to look for. It's a dangerous policy. No pressure really on Ginola, but they stepped forward and got it right.
Booth takes the free kick. And Pavel Senicek unchallenged. Senicek with a throw there that was very risky indeed. Telfer almost picked it off. Defending done by Marcus Hall for Coventry. It's a bit on the short side from Rob Lee. Beardsley's offside again. But Ali Pickering, whose position was considered by Ron Atkinson, he's got Brian Burrows fit again, and a substitute today who's perhaps a more defensive-minded right back. Manager moulded over, but Pickering's been playing well, and the man in possession stays in possession. An interesting afternoon ahead for him.
Well, it will be, Mark, because in the opening couple of minutes, David Ginola has been on the ball more than anyone, and he's shown that he's up for it. He's looked bright. He started very brightly, running at Pickering, pressing him already.
It's a fine ball by Beardsley to involve Ginola again. The back heel for Beresford, plenty forward for Newcastle. It's Pickering who gets in the way of the cross.
Oh, what a start to this game. This has started like a cup tie. Furious pace.
Albert strides rather imperiously forward. Paul Williams picking him up. Goalkeeper's ball. Quite a presence, Steve Grizovic, important for Coventry, but they got him back fit again after that fracture at the end of last season. There's that Newcastle pairing, the two bookends really, the two fullbacks, Barton and Beresford. Closer than usual to each other to deal with that breakout by Coventry. Albert waiting for Ginola to move infield, but couldn't thread the ball through to him. Beresford, Ginola. Pickering played the ball, although Ginola looks down a little ruefully, as though he might have got a bang in passing. And there's Shaw tight on Beardsley, forward by Telfer. Dublin getting in front of Peacock. Whelan quickly on the scene. Volleyed away by Albert, safety first at this stage, sensible.
Well, that's the area to look at tonight. I think that's a great area to be looking at for a battle. It's the two centre forwards against the two centre backs.
Keegan, who has been accommodating Philippe Albert really in switching to three central defenders. That option taken from him by Steve Howie's injury problem. Ginola. And immediately reactions from both sets of supporters. Ferdinand trying to get in front. This is Watson and Lee. Well played Marcus Hall for Coventry. Good cross. Lee down very quickly.
But Paul Telfer's got a big job on today, helping Ali Pickering. It was there again, but it didn't trouble Ginola. He's happy to take on 1, 2 and 3 and still get his cross in.
But Watson. Beardsley. Oh, flying in was Warren Barton. It would have been a splendid goal.
Great football. Beardsley just dropped off the front. Look at Barton's run, straight into the heart of the defence. And as we would expect from Peter Beardsley, superbly delivered cross. It's there to be headed at goal. They can do no more than that. Warren Barton gets a good header on target. But what a zip about the game.
Ginola. That, I think, is Albert. Checking some dental damage, maybe. Not been too well this week, but touch of flu, certainly not enough to keep out a player as tough as Philippe Albert, and a player who's missed so much of last year because of that cruciate knee ligament injury.
Well, there'll be 1 or 2 of these clashes all afternoon, Martin. You can see again both players eyes firmly fixed in the ball. It's that old one that's going to pop up again about players' arms. I don't think you can help lifting your arms when you jump for a ball, as Dion Dublin did then. You have to use them as leverage. And what makes the referee's job difficult is he has to judge what's been accidental, what's been deliberate.
So you support Lee Chapman in yesterday's incident?
I do. I think he was a little bit harshly dealt with. But there might be 1 or 2 defenders that agree with the referee.
Willing Whelan. It's very nicely played by Peacock. A clever little ball down the left-hand side for Beresford. Newcastle wanting to play their football right from deep positions. You heard what Kevin Keegan said 20 minutes or so before the kick-off. Back to basics. Let's play to our strengths. Pass the ball. The system looks more familiar to Newcastle as well, but they've got a long throw from Telford to deal with. Bodies piling in there, including David Boost, who really is trying to make up for lost time in his football career. He didn't turn professional until he was 24. Had a job as an insurance clerk, quite useful for his teammates to pick his brains about their pensions. And most footballers, even in their 20s, do think about their pensions, I can tell you, an absolute certainty. Well kept in by Whelan.
Well, he's willing more, Whelan, isn't he? That's 3 or 4 times already in the opening 7 or 8 minutes that many players would have given up the type of ball that he's chased for. And what he's done, he's made defenders have to play it.
Pickering. Well, Coventry felt it should have gone their way. Peter Jones thought that Pickering committed the first offence.
Well, this could have gone either way. Whether it's the little nudge there, that certainly after that, you have some sympathy with Pickering. And I think the referee was right on the spot, no more than 4 or 5 yards away from the incident.
Williams, who has played as a central defender since moving from Derby, but he's in midfield alongside Kevin Richardson today. Here he is flying in. And that was a hand raised by Rob Lee.
I don't think there's any doubt about this decision. Up goes the right hand, just knocks it away from Paul Williams.
Very quickly taken by Coventry, trying to catch out Cernicek. Now Ginola. by Telfer. Ginola waits for a whistle that doesn't come. Pickering in pursuit. Albert has given it straight back to Telfer. John Salako is unmarked here. Salako, goalkeeper's lost it and Peacock's got it off the line.
Well, thank you very much, Darren Peacock, is what Pavel Srnicek's saying. That was lovely crossed. John Salako totally bare at the back post, really did take his time. No panic in Salako here. This is an area I thought they'd try and exploit, crosses into the box. Salako tries to pick his spot. Goalkeeper doesn't get hold of it. You look at him, thanks very much, pal, he says.
All coming from Albert, trying to play a short pass in the defensive third that was delivered straight to Coventry in the shape of Telfer. Clark. A lovely adventurous feel to the start of this match in the FA Carling Premiership. Ferdinand. Oh, stuck out of foot. It really could have gone anywhere, but Coventry coping. Albert. Whelan working hard again. Richardson. Salako. Peacock tracking Dublin. It's a little loss of concentration from Ferdinand. Beardsley. Ferdinand. This is Watson. Too close to the goalkeeper.
Just like numbers as well, only really less Ferdinand was a threat there when the ball came into the area.
Jack will have to scurry here to prevent the corner. And he and Beresford making a meal of that when the goalkeeper had the opportunity just to put his foot through the ball and get it out of harm's way.
I don't think John Beresford helped his goalkeeper. I thought he could have dealt with it quite comfortably. But obviously Beresford wanted to give him a hand.
Beresford obviously knows a bit more than we do, perhaps, about Srnicek's left foot. Ginola. Well, exactly 3 months since Newcastle last collected 3 points away from their own stronghold at St James's Park. Since that win at Queen's Park Rangers, 3 points in total from 5 games on their travels, losing the last 2 at Chelsea and at Manchester United, of course. Watson trying to get between the two. Shaw and Williams. It's a corner to Newcastle. Shaw's hurt.
Good defending by the two that helped out. Marcus Hall, I don't know what he's trying to do, playing the way he did there. Well, he's just taking too much of a gamble. You're in the last third and you're trying to run out with the ball. Plenty of options to pass it or clear it. But Shaw and Williams did enough between them. But maybe at a price.
Well, obviously, the nature of the injury at the back of the head, giving the referee latitude to allow some attention to Shaw on the pitch. He's okay. Ginola takes the corner. Vuzovic is having some catching practice at the moment.
That's training session stuff. Totally unchallenged, comfortable, come and take it.
Beardsley starting the week during which he will reach the age of 35. Salako, Lee was with it. Beresford, remember Rob Lee, who was almost ruled out after the match at Highbury's, got this sore Achilles. The feeling is from the Newcastle medical men that playing won't actually aggravate the injury too much, but he does need a week to 10 days to rest it to get a proper recovery. Very hard to fit in that time. There's so many important matches around, and Kevin Keegan has asked him to play today. And Rob Lee has willingly complied with that request.
It is difficult when you're chasing so many honours. So many big games. Hard to know when you can get an opportunity to rest an injury.
That's just his club commitments, of course. There's so much ahead with England, he hopes. It's Lee linking up with Beardsley. Play on is the message from the referee. Lee right alongside him, just querying it.
Well, Paul Williams did an important job. If you're a midfield player, you have to track as well as go forward, and Williams certainly tracked Lee's run through there.
Williams, one of half a dozen Ron Atkinson signings on this side. Telfer is another. Not run quite as quickly to certainly check as he would have hoped. That's the kick. Lofted back by Pickering. Well, Noel Whelan was in a passive position, well forward. Dublin was clearly in a legitimate position. And quite rightly, the game was allowed to go on, although the Newcastle fans were calling under the old laws for an offside decision to be given. Clark has done very well. The odds against him, and Lee Clark is still going, and has he got a corner? Not quite.
That was a super break from Newcastle.
Clark, who lost his place really with the change in the system, has got it back today and determined to hang on to it. Here's Lee. Watson. There's certainly plenty of room for improvement in Coventry's results. After a very sluggish start to their season. And Atkinson not shy of spending money to improve a lot of the clubs that he's in charge of. And Coventry will feel the money will be well spent if it guarantees their survival at this level. They're pretty good at doing just that, surviving. Long-time members of the top division. John Solako, who was on the verge of signing for Newcastle when he received a medical report that recommended Newcastle not to pursue the interest in Solako, who was with Crystal Palace then, of course. Ferdinand's off the pitch at the moment, getting some attention. But Beardsley's very much on it. And Watson's free in the centre, if Beardsley can see it. Beardsley going for goal himself. Watson keeping his concentration to keep Newcastle in possession. There's no Ferdinand to try and find with a cross here. Not for the moment. Richardson not very far away. Lee. Here's Clark. Beautifully picking out Ginola, whose control was superb. And Coventry trying to double up on him, but they can't stop the pass into Clark. Now Beardsley, who's got a very good record down the years against Coventry City. He scored his first league goal for Liverpool and his last league goal for Liverpool on this ground. Got a hat-trick against Coventry for Everton.
Well, the 1-2 is important. Lee Clark's run attracts David Boost, who had been just behind Peter Beardsley. You watch it here, he plays the ball. Now watch Boost get attracted to his right, and that just creates a little bit of space for Peter Beardsley to turn and shoot.
Well, Newcastle not slacking on the attacking with Ferdinand off. Now they've got him back on again.
hoping that Les's little trek out to the sidelines wasn't an important one, Mark.
Problem with his left ankle. Well won by Peacock against Dublin. Laid-back character, John Salako, but you just sense that he really wants to put on a performance today to show Newcastle what they missed out on. Dublin wins it again. And, Lee coming back, facing his own goal, having to swing a right boot at the ball to make sure there were no immediate alarms. Salako shaping for the long throw, Dublin indicating that he wants to fight for it here. Beaten by Watson. Nowhere for Barton to go, really. Somehow he's manufactured a pass from right on the very line. Ferdinand. Newcastle exploring down the left now. By Hall, only as far as Barton. Watson held his position well to stay onside. He's not exactly Keith Gillespie, but he's very willing, Steve Watson, to do whatever Kevin Keegan asks of him positionally. That's banged away straight out of play by Barton.
Not quite what he had in mind, I think, looking for Pavel Srnicek. Didn't quite get it the way he wanted.
He wanted it on the outside of the right foot. It hit somewhere near the middle. Salako. First was not the biggest, but he was in the right place. Ginola. Beardsley right up alongside Ferdinand again. Beresford. Broken up rather easily for Coventry by Pickering, but rather easily he's given it away to Watson. Lee square of him. Here's Rob Lee. Made space for a shot and then couldn't quite dig it out.
Well, you can see what he was trying to do. First part was lovely, the way he jinked past two defenders. But then looking just to chip it over Steve Agrizovic, but it isn't easy.
Drive was up against Ferdinand.
I think that's a dangerous policy when you play against Les Ferdinand, to hold a line high up the pitch the way they do. All it's going to take is that we get it right once. It just goes a fraction early, Les, but look at all the grass he's got to go into. 30, 40 yards. I think it's a dangerous, dangerous policy.
Newcastle certainly controlling the possession. Halfway through the first half. Ginola. It's a match brimming with promise. And Ginola not delivering as much as he promised then.
No, he just gets caught. I think it's Kevin Richardson who gets back in just as Ginola decides he's going to pull the trigger. It just does enough, I think, to put the Frenchman off. Again, look, nice little interplay. He's happy here. He's happy in that area on his right side. But he usually provides a better shot than that.
After what happened on Wednesday, it's the area of judgment for the referee. Every incident involving tackles on Ginola. He's, like all of us, read the papers, I'm sure, watched the match on television, in which Ginola ended up so frustrated that he lashed out and felled Lee Dixon, and properly was red carded for that. But it shows again the considerable demands made of officials at this level. And the standards of judgment that are called from. This is Watson. responsible for Newcastle's last away win. That was in the Coca-Cola Cup at Liverpool. And they're playing well enough here, Andy, to feel that they could be winners today.
I think both sides, both managers will be fairly pleased with the opening half of this first half. And I think Coventry, I said earlier, it's important that they don't concede and keep it tight at the back. They've done that so far. Can't remember Steve Ogrizovic troubled apart from the Warren Barton header. And they've fashioned a good chance themselves from John Salako. I think both teams will be pretty pleased. Newcastle know they're away from home. They can just probe away, probe away. They've got quality. They can win the game in a second with the likes of Ferdinand and Beardsley and Ginola, Robert Lee, all match winners.
Beardsley. The way the ball was played to him really dictated that that was the only ball on. He was going to play it quickly, and in doing so, just caught Watson offside.
Oh, it was played past him. I just wonder, Ali Pickering, yeah, they just get him. It's tight. Again, I mean, you couldn't have complained had that been allowed to go on. And I think that's the fine line that linesmen run now.
Well, as Coventry have shown their capacity in attack, it's improved considerably. The work rate of Dublin and Whelan and the ability to back that up is impressive. Ron Atkinson says there's no better pairing around, but it's in the other half of the pitch where their supporters fret and worry whether they're strong enough at the back against this fearfully strong attack of Newcastle United. Beresford.
Chase it right into the corner. I'm just going to say, willing though he is, he's not going to catch that. But what they're doing, Martin, in the opening 26 minutes, they're working both centre-backs. They're making them really work hard all across the pitch. They're stretching them left and right. Centre-backs normally like to stay in the centre of the field and don't get pulled about, but these two are making sure that Albert and Peacock are being pulled about.
Well, Newcastle have entertained so much in getting to the top. Now they are showing perhaps one or two signs of the siege mentality that comes when you are at the top and everyone wants to beat you. Coventry looking for cracks to explore here, but Ginola showing that he can tackle as well, and there's no doubt that's a free kick in favour of the Frenchman.
No, that's for sure. Isn't it nice to see David Ginola just go past the referee and say, steady on, ref, or words to that effect, as he would say in France. But he got caught a little, but what he did very well, he showed a great willingness to get back, and you can see there he just hacks away at David Ginola, and the referee perfectly right to bring up for a free kick.
This is Beardsley. And still,
Owen Williams.
Probably helped by the pitch, the ball might just have held up a foot or so to enable him to get his foot to the ball.
It's a dead pitch, that's the way I would describe it. But Peter Beardsley's always going to look to go right onto that side. But Paul Williams playing in the centre of midfield, that's twice, 2 or 3 times at least, that he's managed to get himself back in. And
Ginola's corner. Dublin's defensive header. Back with Ginola again. That's Peacock. A reflex header from Beardsley, and it needed saving.
Well, it was a horrible spinning header. The ones that goalkeepers really do hate. Another yard off his line, and Steve Ogrizovic may have struggled to get this. Just instinctive from Peter Beardsley, you can see it's dropping in. And a yard off his line, and it might have been a different result. Snap header, might even have come off his shoulder.
And look at Beardsley himself chasing in case it came off the goalkeeper back into play. Ginola takes the corner. Well, that was Ferdinand to a T, except that it didn't end up in the back of the net.
Well, if you give Les Ferdinand this type of time, this type of space, and this clear a header, then you'll expect to get punished. There's a big gap there. David Bush doesn't get near him. Les is up way above him. Clear header, free header, powerful header. It's only a yard off target. And with Pickering leaving the post, you see Ali Pickering goes out, leaves that near post. And I think that's what Steve Ogrizovic was saying to Ali Pickering. Where are you going? Don't leave the post so quickly.
Using his strength to good effect. Beardsley.
He attracts players, doesn't he? See the problems that teams have. As soon as he gets it, watch 3 players around Peter Beardsley. So that means there must be time and space around. Shaw's attracted to him. Kevin Richardson's attracted to him. Pickering's attracted to him. So other players must be enjoying some space.
And that happens when Ferdinand's on the ball, when Ginola's on the ball, and also, of course, when Gillespie was on the ball, when he was a fixture in the side before that injury at Old Trafford. Certainly forcing the play, Newcastle United, but it's still 0-0 at Highfield Road with 15 minutes to go to half-time. Trying to stop the corner, he's done that. Hemmed into the corner by Telfer, helped by Clark. They just don't want to whack it away, and sometimes that can be a problem, as Hurst had found out, caught by Whelan's attentions. And Williams diving in and using his body unfairly.
Yeah, they just went against Albert. But they've caused their own problems at times, Newcastle. They want to play even in from, well, I was going to say impossible positions, but close to impossible positions. And that's what's causing them problems. You know, sometimes as a defender, you've just got to put your foot through the ball and clear your lines.
It's a touch by Ferdinand, scampered after by Beardsley. And the referee checked with the linesman.
They're just starting to get a bit of joy with that ball up to Les Ferdinand now. He's finding the range, and his little nods down to Peter Beardsley.
Well, we talk about having 2 up, and Newcastle rarely described as that, Andy, but the way they're playing today with Beardsley right up.
Beardsley's certainly further forward than I've seen him marking many times he's played for Newcastle. It's definitely a front position he's operating on. At times, so much so, he's ahead of Les Ferdinand.
Ginola. Newcastle have been linked in the transfer gossip in the newspapers with various notable foreign players this week. And Kevin Keegan isn't averse to reminding his present players that Newcastle do have the resources to replace them if standards slip. Well, it doesn't look as though the enjoyment of watching this Newcastle start over the opening half an hour is keeping the chill out of the Keegan bones at the moment. He probably feels his side is worth a goal.
Well, they've controlled a lot of the play. In the middle third they've been good. But they're still, you know, they haven't got themselves close enough. The one header, that flashing header from Ferdinand from the corner. But at any time they can open you up. That's always a worry when you're playing against them.
Yes, there's been a header from Barton, a reflex header from Beardsley, a header from Ferdinand. We talk about Newcastle, the team that lets goals in from headers. Another ball in the air that Ferdinand was attracted to as he made his run towards the near post.
Well, that ain't bad. I mean, Kevin Keegan, back to basics, wants to go forward. And certainly that kind of statistic there shows that they're pushing forward, trying to get that opening goal.
In from Dublin. Peacock, rather deliberate aim with the header, but it went straight to Telfer. Well, that was slightly embarrassing for Coventry, blocking off their own avenues of attack. Here's Clark. With 1 or 2 useful breaks from midfield. Beardsley back deeper for a moment. Ginola. was floated towards Ferdinand, but too much on it. And Warren Barton had made a 60-yard run to make an extra man right on the far side, suddenly had to make another 60-yard dash back.
It's amazing how much of the game has been played from centre of the field to this near side where you and I are. I've hardly seen John Salako on the ball on that far left side in the first half.
Into a central position at the moment. Coventry have moved across on block. And win the ball in Newcastle's half, and they've done that now. Richardson, Williams, Richardson again, Pickering. Coventry falling into the same trap as Newcastle, really. Too many balls have gone within the goalkeeper's reach. Barton. Beardsley. Feeding Ginola.
Now he's got one against one. Can't tell if he'll get back and help Pickering.
He's there, but he can't stop him. And Ginola, it's his favourite move. And defenders know all about it, but
well, there's one thing knowing about it, there's another thing dealing with it, and that's the ability that the guy has, is that he doesn't get concerned. An awful lot of players will get concerned when suddenly he's confronted not with one but two, but not David Ginola. He's coped with it all his career, and he manages still to create that little bit of space, but he just doesn't control his shot the way we know he can.
Clark. Flipped forward by Barton, but no real direction. Volleyed away by Dublin, who's staying as a central defender at the moment. Here he is again, and doing it well enough, although the Newcastle supporters thought that Albert might suddenly become the central striker and sneak in on it.
Well, when he first arrived in the country, we saw this so often. Philippe Albert pop a ball into midfield and continue his run like that. He's got to be a little bit more disciplined now, but he still shows there that he's not afraid, when the time's right, to be going forward.
Dublin. There was no flag, and Dion Dublin saw that Senicek was scrambling to get back.
Well, Dublin was offside. I think what they're talking about is once again Whelan coming back was the one. But you have to see when it sits up like that and it's on a full volley and you've got time, that a player of the quality of Dion Dublin should be doing slightly better than he did.
This is an odd thing to say from that distance, but it looked a chance as the situation developed. Anything on target, and Senicek might have had egg on his face. Coming up for you on Tuesday night, our next live football from the FA Cup, the third round replay. Sunderland against Manchester United, a mouth-watering prospect. Roker Park. We start at 7. Flag was up. Ginola, and Ferdinand had put the brakes on. He would have certainly been offside if he continued his forward momentum. Well, emotions were running high at Highbury on the Newcastle bench on Wednesday. Terry McDermott trading insults with Bruce Rioch over the Ginola incident, all in the heat of the moment. It's Whelan, and it's Senicek, but it came off Albert.
Well, that certainly looked like a back pass to me. Albert was struggling. He certainly was stretching, but he certainly directed it, in my opinion, back towards his goalkeeper. And I think had the referee given a free kick, he was entitled to. You see Albert straight, he looks at his goalkeeper, and look at that. That's played. That's played back towards his goalkeeper, who picks it up. But Peter Jones didn't agree.
The Coventry supporters still aggravated about that. The Coventry players must concentrate on the Newcastle corner. 5 minutes to go to half-time.
Well, they certainly won't be happy if anything happens at this corner, that's a certainty. Well, look at that corner kick.
Richardson heads away. This is Lee. Peacock has stayed forward. Ginola. Well, some Coventry fans might remember seeing Cernicek get sent off in this fixture a couple of years ago. It was very early in Newcastle's Premiership life. They're trying to play a part to unsettle him. There was a slip by Peacock. He suddenly ended up doing a somersault on the edge of his own area. Telfer. Hutchison won't quite get there. And for all that Achilles tendon problem, Rob Lee did.
He's done well, Lee, in that, when you consider what he's playing under.
Peacock. Here's Lee on the ball. Ginola is on the right. Empty through the centre for Newcastle. Beardsley is one. Now Ginola. That's Watson throwing himself at the cross.
Good play. An attacker who desperately wanted to win it, and a defender who was just as determined that he wouldn't. Again, Ginola flights a lovely ball in. It's there to be attacked. Good to see. That's a great clean fight for the ball here.
Acceleration when required from Albert. But it was an anxious kick from Cernicek.
And when you look at the goal mouths, Martin, at Highfield Road, they're not the best in the country. And goalkeepers would be worried. Concentration, I would think, is of the essence when the ball's played back.
Cernicek keeping his place today, although Shaka Hislop is fit again. Remember, he was injured before Christmas, a thigh strain at Chelsea. Shaw came all the way with Beardsley, but couldn't stop the layoff, which flew to Ginola. The control was excellent. Ginola carrying it on. Pass is a useful one. But in the sand in that penalty area, Steve Watson rather got bogged down. Two minutes plus stoppage time before half-time. Ferdinand. Beardsley. Well read by Shaw.
But there it was again. Again, evidence of Beardsley playing up as a partner with Les Ferdinand.
But that was sliced away by Boost. Whelan fighting for it. Hasn't had too many touches of the ball as the half has developed. Ginola. Salako, that's weak. And it's Clark. It's Steve Watson. Steve Watson striding through the score. But a terrible mistake for Coventry.
Well, it was a nothing ball. It was there to be dealt with. John Salako didn't deal with it. But again, this lad shows great composure when he's given an opportunity to score. Ginola's tried this ball 4 or 5 times and hasn't connected. But that's real sloppy play from John Salako. But look at the way Watson just takes his time. Ogrezovic goes to ground and he just pokes it past him. That's a horrendous error from John. It sat up a bit awkward for Salako, but he should have dealt with it better than that.
Well, it came on his weaker foot, but at this level, those sort of mistakes are going to be punished. And Steve Watson striding on to score with the confidence that he showed twice to get winning goals against Liverpool in the league match at St James's Park and that cup-tie at Anfield. And Watson has given Newcastle not just the lead, but a goal as we close in on half-time. But Kevin Keegan's team might feel his fair reward for the shape of the first half, but Ron Atkinson will be absolutely livid in the manner it was conceded.
Oh, he won't have to.
There you are.
I think that says it all. And they've defended fairly well. Newcastle enjoyed a great deal of possession and were growing in confidence. You just got that feeling. They were growing in confidence. Coventry were having to do more and more defensive work, but I'm sure they didn't expect it to come from that kind of error.
Here is now the type of fight ahead for Coventry in the second half that has been seen here season in, season out, it seems. But they're authors of their own demise at the moment. And there is the half-time whistle. You can see how close it was. After Watson had capitalised, Salako has some apologising to do. Ron Atkinson has some motivating to do. The league leaders are in front at Highfield Road. Coventry City 0, Newcastle United 1 at half-time.
New evidence.
I have information Richard Cross is innocent.
Establishing a dubious new alibi.
I was with him last Wednesday night when he went to that girl's apartment. Her eyes were wide open, looking straight at us.
Creating a fearful new suspect.
I swear to God, I didn't kill her. Help me, Teddy.
And producing a killer new series.
We're gonna represent this kid.
Murder One continues tonight at 9 on Sky Movies.
And so, gentlemen, despite the team's recent unlucky run, the chairman and the board of directors have assured me, quite categorically, and without a shadow of a doubt, that they are 110% behind me and that I have their total support.
So low, Ron. You'd better ring the Royal.
Well, I've not been very well, you know.
For all types of insurance, for all kinds of mishaps, you better ring the Royal.
You too.
Please, just
Stop
it.
Play McDonald's £1.5 million Monopoly game. There are thousands of great prizes to win instantly, like Big Macs and Coca-Cola, or by collecting the stickers on special cups and fry boxes. A chance to win Sony home entertainment systems from Comet. Sony Discmans, mini hi-fis, and televisions.
Just one. No, one. Come on. Just one. You never let me have one of those.
Go directly to McDonald's and play the £1.5 million Monopoly game.
The unmistakable sound of Jerry Rafferty on One More Dream.
You should worry.
All his hits and more on one classic album.
If you get wrong, you'll get right next time. One more
including Baker Street, Stuck in the Middle with You, and Night Owl.
One more dream, but it's looking okay.
One More Dream. The very best of Jerry Rafferty. Out now on CD and cassette.
Excuse me, could I have a Rolo, please?
A what?
Rolos. I'll pay you. Rolo. Do you mind?
No, you can't go down my bag.
What do you mean you always get them on the bus?
Someone who wants Rolos.
Don't get like that. I want a Rolo. Deliciously soft caramel, wrapped in really thick milk chocolate. Well, would you share any of your Rolos?
No, no, no.
Exactly. Neither would I.
Sometimes the simplest way to get things done is to strip down to the bare essentials. It's a belief we share at Cheltenham and Gloucester. Because we're so streamlined, we're Britain's most cost-efficient mortgage lender. Mortgages from Cheltenham and Gloucester. We're run to make you richer.
Right on half-time, Newcastle United in front by a 1-0. Steve Watson, the scorer. 11 attempts, the Geordies 5 on target, just 3 from Coventry, 2 on target. Look at the corner count. So who's to say the leaders don't deserve their 1-goal advantage? Nobody booked. It's always worth looking at those booked and sent off statistics. Ball in play, 32 minutes from nearly 46. That's good. And Newcastle have dominated the action areas as well. We'll talk to Steve Stone and Barry Venison in a moment, but before we go any further, let's remind you, not many voting days left now to our big Champions of Sport celebration.
Panasonic Honours Sky's Champions of Sport 95 is coming soon, but you can vote now. Sky Sports Champion, 0891 405011, the individual who has dominated and achieved most on Sky Sports. Sky Sports Champion Team, 0891 405012, the Team of the Year. Boss of the Year, 0891 405013, the manager or coach who has made an outstanding contribution to lead their team to glory. Shooting Star, 0891 405014, the most outstanding young newcomer. Honorary Brit Award, 0891 405015, the overseas player who has contributed most to British sport. Sky Sports Hall of Fame, 0891 405016, the person you think has made a lasting contribution to sport in Britain. Phone now to cast your vote.
It's a very close run thing as well for the champion of sport, Frank Bruno, Mike Atherton, Prince Nazim and Alan Shearer, all jockeying for position, and no prizes for guessing who we would like to win. No disrespect to anybody else, but keep those calls coming. We would like to see us in the football team, Alan Shearer, win that. Barry Venison and Steve Stone with us this afternoon. Newcastle leading by 1-0, but had John Solarco been able to take the early chance that fell his way, Steve, things might have been a little different, eh?
Yeah,
Probably started brightly enough as well, didn't they?
They have, yeah. Newcastle have messed around with it quite a bit in this left-back position with Albert, and they've got caught a few times. And on this occasion, it's a great first touch. He took it to his side and he smashed it low. Keeper's nearly knocked it in the net.
So John Solarco unfortunate, and Dion Dublin on hand there to underline that. But at the other end, Barry, right on half-time, Newcastle in front through Watson, and John Solarco played a major part in that as well.
Big body blow. All he's trying to do is try to hook it away, I think. He's completely made a hash of it. Steve Watson's found himself a lot of time, and now he's still in the company. He showed great composure, and he's actually picked the hardest route to score the goal. I mean, a lot of players, a lot of forwards coming here would probably elect for the goalkeeper to commit himself. A little dink over the top. Steve Aguzzi looks if he's got it covered, but he squeezed it in. Steve Watson's popping up with a couple of very important goals for Newcastle lately. But from Coventry's point of view, it is a massive blow because that affects the whole mood at half-time. They go out 0-0, they say, yeah, they maybe don't deserve to be in front, but they don't deserve to be behind. And there's a lot of confidence gained from that. And they'll think maybe
Newcastle give them a chance of taking off, but now it's backs against the wall and they've got a big hill to climb.
We've been tracking David Ginolat all afternoon with our computer, wondering how he would react to being sent off at Highbury the other night. 2 goal attempts, off target, 26 passes, 13 complete, so he's been very much involved in the play, hasn't he? 2 key passes, they led to goal-scoring opportunities. How would you assess his performance, Steve, after 45 minutes?
It's been all right. I'd like to see him go down the outside a bit more. He's been cutting in and he likes to cut in, have a few shots, but I'd like to see him go around the back and get some balls in for Ferdinand, because I think that's what Ferdinand thrives on, and that's what they need at the minute.
Well, there's still a lot to play for. Coventry City trailing by just a single goal to Newcastle United here at Highfield Road. Steve Watson's goal separating the teams at the moment. Not the first time Coventry have been behind this season. Can they find a way back?
Corporate takeovers.
She wants your job, and whatever Rachel wants, Rachel gets.
Dangerous games.
Nothing is over until I say so.
She's got my code. And dangerous women.
Since when did you become interested in the theater? Since Stephanie started to communicate. You have no right to play games with my husband.
It's about success and staying on top at any cost. Central Park West, Monday at 8 on Sky One Primetime. How hard do you play?
Relax. Let your mind drift. Let your mind drift. Feel the tension ebb away. Feel the tension ebb away. Transport yourself to a new world. Transport yourself to a new world. Discover a new you. Discover a new you. Rediscover your family. Rediscover your family.
I admire Minogue. She's an Antipodean bombshell with the voice of an angel.
No, you couldn't get a musical marvel into a more compact shape.
But if she changed my hula hoops into a more compact shape, like a miniature scale model of herself, I'd say, oi, Minogue, no! You should be so lucky.
Lucky?
Lucky. Hula hoops are round. They're staying round and they'll be around forever.
The very best of Sweet.
And that's why
On Ballroom Hits.
wants a piece of the action. She's a heroine.
22 blockbusting tracks from the Hellraisers of 70s rock. Including all 10 top 10 hits. Sweet. Ballroom Hits. Out now on CD and cassette.
And this could be the big one. Oh, and he's hit the bar!
Snickers Hunger Buster, the biggest ever.
Trouble with this town is everyone wants to be in the movies. It's pathetic.
Say, you want to be in the movies?
Me?
You've got just what I need. And cut! I love you, and I love you. All right, now it's time for the close-up. Bring in the real actresses.
Ah, give them the 106.
I'd rather die.
No!
Whose is that?
Nothing to do with me.
What do you think you're playing at?
Well, it's not mine. Don't look at
I
me.
thought we told you to be careful.
John, I think we're the ones who should have been careful.
There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance.
If your family suddenly grows, so too will your responsibilities. That's why Allied Dunbar financial plans adapt, so you can face the unexpected.
Let's face the music and dance.
Allied Dunbar, for the life you don't yet know.
To relax, call 0990 200 200.
Their first encounter was full of excitement, FA Cup style.
1-0 to Manchester United. Sunderland are level. Russell's goal! Cantona has equalised.
Now Sunderland are at home and Manchester United have to face the Roker Park Roar. A Ford Escort FA Cup special, Tuesday at 7, live on Sky Sports.
Coventry and Newcastle live on Super Sunday this afternoon. Our play ball action comes from this same fixture 12 months ago. Do you remember what happened to this ball? Andy Cole with the ball on the penalty spot. Just wondering, Barry, did you play in this?
No, well, I said no, I'll still be anonymous.
Should I rephrase the question? Were you there?
That is a good question after every game.
Hold on, A, B or C? Where does it end up? That's what we need to know. A, B or C? £200 is our top prize as usual. There are 6 Sky Sports T-shirts for the runners-up. The number to call is 0891 700 550. 0891 700 550. Top prize, £200, Sky Sports T-shirts for the runners-up. Steve, is there a way back into this for Coventry City? Have they shown you enough to suggest that there might be?
In patches they have, like early on. I think they've got to come out and be positive in the second half. But it's going to be difficult against such a strong side as Newcastle. You know, they've got the goal, and I think they might just go on and get 2 or 3.
But if there is a chink of daylight, Barry, where might it be? What is their best chance of finding
Newcastle
people?
can't hang on. They can't hang on to results. They've got to come strengths, which is attacking. That's their style of play. That's Kevin Keegan's style of play. And when they do play that way, they play that home and away. But when they've been playing that away from home, they've been letting other teams get more chances than is healthy. And I think, well, Coventry didn't exactly create a clear-cut chance the first half. They created a bit of a stir, enough stir to get enough confidence. So yes, they can harm Newcastle a little bit the second half.
Surprisingly, for a Premiership surface, it's not the best, Steve, is it?
No, it's not the best, no. It's looking a bit dodgy at the minute. I wouldn't like to be out there today on a pitch like that.
Which in itself might suit Coventry, Barry.
I was going to say, I think it has. I think it's just restricted Newcastle a little bit. They like the slick passing, especially in the last third. You know, when Peter Beasley's been through a couple of times, it's just held up.
Suggesting 1 or 2 of those lumps might go back more quickly, eh?
You've seen there's more lumps being taken out of his legs on the pitch.
Newcastle lead by a goal to 0. Watson right on half-time. Match commentators, of course, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Coventry coming out here trying to achieve something they haven't managed in their previous 5 meetings with Newcastle, and that is score a goal. 4 of those games in the Premiership, 1 an FA Cup tie a couple of years ago, and of course another half has gone by goalless for them here. But not just conceding the goal, Andy, the nature of it must be particularly sapping.
That would be the hard thing to take for them, but in all honesty, Newcastle for their away side, Martin, in the first half have basically controlled the game. Lots of possession, as we saw. And you can ask no more for your side if you're coming away and you're top of the league at places like Coventry, which Kevin says beforehand, it's time that when we come to places like this, we're expected to win. And they're doing that at the moment, and they're doing it fairly comfortably. The one moment of alarm was the John Salako opportunity.
Well, of course, Newcastle started this season, they hope will be an historic season, with a confident and comfortable victory over Coventry at St James's Park. It was 3-0 back in August. It's 1-0 here at Highfield Road in Newcastle's favour as away we go. Peacock. Shaw with the header. On from Richardson. Telfer. That's Beasley furthest forward again in full gallop. Even then, realising there wasn't too much on even for a player of his gifts, he's still trying to stop the goal kick.
Well, it's interesting. Look how far ahead of Les Ferdinand Peter Beasley was in that instance. I wonder if they've had a look at the pitch. Kevin and his crew came early and had a look at this surface, and I wonder if that's influenced their decision to push him forward, Martin, because the middle of the pitch, it's really not an area where you can be getting the ball down and slicking it about, finding neat little passes. So perhaps they've said to Peter, listen, today, maybe just a one-off, play a little bit further forward and cause some damage there.
Good pressing by Whelan. Coventry don't get much luck with the ricochets. But he has scored in his last 3 Premiership games. So young man with a real swagger about him, Noel Whelan. Salako, a bit to make up for. Williams. It's a good cross here from Telfer. And it was Williams attacking it.
That's a chance, Martin. That's a chance. It's not a free header. Warren Barton was the one challenging, but when he popped it wide, great ball here. He just pop it wide. Williams has a little look, and then he's off in behind Dan Peacock. It's a super ball in. He gets up early. It's there really to be headed. It's really there to hit the target. At least make the keeper do something. Not a good header at all from Paul Williams.
That's good chasing by Lee, but the pitch gets the better of Clark. Dublin. Knocked that off without looking. Watson, Barton, Beardsley. Williams falling on the ball, but the hand was used, and it's a free kick to Newcastle. Doesn't make the most of it. Clark. Sensibly played by Boost. Telfer. Scurrying style of his. And support from behind by Pickering, but he was never allowed to check back. And the linesman's a long way away.
Linesman's an awful long way away. He's at the halfway line. I think John Dennis would have given that up. I think he knew it was he just got a little toe to it.
Ginola. Gordon winning it back from Clark. Beardsley. Got a footwork again. The pass reaches Watson. Steve Watson going forward once more. Ferdinand, as Watson just ran out of ideas at the crucial moment. Coventry were able to close the gap with some difficulty. Lee. Newcastle with a real business-like look about them again.
Well, I think Newcastle know that another goal would basically kill Coventry off. 2-0 just might be too much for the home side. And I think Coventry know they've got to get the next goal if they're going to win this game. And they've got a danger of maybe pushing too many men forward and being picked off at the other end.
Lee. Ginola wants it. They can't get enough sting into the pass. Difficult bounce there for Beresford. He's sent tumbling by Whelan. Telfer's cross. Now there with his arms down by his side. Pickering. Coventry trying to pick up the pace. Dublin. Richardson's cross. Williams right in there again. Trying to make an extra man in the penalty area. And perhaps a feeling in the Coventry ranks, Andy, that no one will just check back to win those sort of headers against the midfield man. If he needs to be marked by a player from a similar area of the pitch, in other words, if the two centre-backs are picking up the two men up front.
I think it's an aerial threat, and I think that will be important for Coventry that he does push forward when they have the ball wide.
Richardson. There's no one up front there. And Richardson wants to know why. Well, you can see that damaged right arm of Ron Atkinson. He still joins in training with the gusto of a first-year trainee, and in doing so this week, picked up an injury.
Gusto of a first-year trainee, but not the movement of a first-year trainee.
Last time I saw him in training, he was pretending to be Ginola. So he's obviously picking up some extra tips in the second half where Ginola's operating right in front of him. Albert, that was worth a crack. Well, you can be sure with bastard right arm like Ron Atkinson has, Terry McDermott won't be looking for any altercations with the Coventry bench.
Might be a bit of weight difference as well in that.
Be a good contest verbally, though. Salaka. Marcus Hall with a cross, and wasn't too far away from Noel Whelan.
It was delivered into a great area, Mark. The only thing it had was just too much pace on it. It just defeated both Dublin and Whelan. Watson goes to ground, and that's the opportunity for them to get 2 against 1. The Warren Barton. The cross is in a perfect position. It's absolutely ideal, but just a little too firmly struck.
Boost and Shaw colliding, and Booster stayed down, and Peter Jones concerned about that. That's not the first time in this game in their anxiety to impose themselves on the match that Coventry players have actually impeded each other. Let's spark out David Boost.
Full marks to the referee, Martin, here. 1 or 2 might have been tempted to let this go on. And that's an awful whack. It's almost a shoulder that goes straight into his jaw. We certainly feel a bit groggy after that. And as I say, full marks to Peter Jones. He quickly spotted there might be some trouble. And even though Coventry still had possession and were going forward, he was very quick to bring play to a halt.
Dalton there has just got to make sure that Boost has all his faculties back.
Well, I need them against Ferdinand and Co today.
So the ball dropped to restart, supposedly knocked forward by Beardsley, so Coventry can start again, but from not a position quite as promising as it was when Peter Jones, as you said, Andy, understandably had to stop the play. Beardsley. Got onto some greenery in the end when he was in danger of slipping in the sand.
Well, I know Whelan got some joy at Bolton recently in the last minute in the same sort of situation. But Pavel Srnicek, well, dropped his shoulder, was a confident mood.
Yes, it was a goalkeeping error by Keith Brannigan, led to a penalty, and John Salako bravely took it in the last minute to turn 1 point into 3 for Coventry, crucially. Oh, Peacock and Srnicek. More confusion here, and you sense there's an accident waiting to happen.
Well, it was almost after you. I think Darren Peacock's trying to let this go. Again, Whelan is a willing runner. Hooks it in there. I think he's saying, come on, he wants him to come, And then he thinks, I'll have to take the pace off it.
Well, Coventry trying to take the pace off Ginola. Ginola. Here's Lee. But this kicked out by Boost, recovering by Salako. But in the end, although he wasn't to know it, it wasn't necessary because the flag was up for offside. Debate between Agrizovic and the referee about exactly where the ball should be placed for the free kick to be taken.
Just wonder how long it will be before Ron Atkins is thinking of introducing Peter Rinloff to the proceedings if it stays like this. You're certainly looking for someone in the Coventry ranks that can produce a piece of magic, the unexpected. Inlove certainly fits that bill.
It's Rodley again making light of that injury. Really pumping forward from midfield from Clark's pass. Misjudgment by Peacock in the Newcastle defence. And Whelan knocks it too far ahead of Salako. Which was a shame for Coventry. But it won't be long before the talented but very unpredictable Peter Unlove is going to be introduced, unless, of course, the Coventry players still on the pitch can change the position significantly before Atkinson decides the time is absolutely right. Now Leeds could do with Noel Whelan at the moment with their striking problems. Lee Chapman, the surprise player on loan, now facing a suspension. Kick by Grizovic, but Hall helped it on. And Williams. And now the referee again has to make a quick decision, and he's made a sensible one. Lovely.
That was another aerial challenge. Williams and Lee again. Can you see that? I think he's so many times it happened. I think the referees, well, he's been done very well this afternoon. Again, that's purely accidental in my opinion. Both players going for the ball, and one getting caught with a flailing arm, really.
Can't see him there, but Kevin Keegan is having a conversation with David Ginola.
Ginola is probably asking him why...
Look at the swelling there.
There is a swelling as well. That might be right on the cheekbone. You see it again. Now watch Williams. Both of them arms up. Both of them using for leverage to get up. And he catches him as he's going for the ball. Certainly a nasty swelling. Well, that kind of cheekbone area is a dangerous area. Sometimes things like depressed fractures are difficult to diagnose on the spot like that.
Well, it's the absolute opposite of depressed. It's
the swelling, you see that.
And Derek Wright leading Robley off. Well, he wants a rest, as I was telling you earlier, to get this Achilles tendon right. This injury will enforce it. Don't forget Newcastle, of course, have got an FA Cup replay on Wednesday at St James's Park against Chelsea. Half an hour to go. Well, Boost hooked it away. Wasn't the most convincing piece of defending, but it worked. Wheeler. Forward by Dublin. Good running from Williams. Kevin Richardson chugging into the centre. Telfer going for the near post. It's Richardson who'll challenge the goalkeeper. That's well put together by Coventry City.
Well, it was a nice little move. Again, the midfield runner gets involved. Paul Williams. But with both centre forwards involved in the build-up, they're a little bit lacking in numbers as the cross comes in.
Tugging by Ferdinand. Just has to be careful. He is very close on accumulation of penalty points for yellow cards to a suspension. Shaw takes the free kick. Met by Peacock, only as far as Williams.
back at the action.
That disfiguring. He's not shirking his responsibilities here. And he wins a header as well. Paul trying to drag on, forcing Barton back. I think Barton relished those particular attentions.
A little bit of inexperience from Marcus Hall. The Warren Barton's going nowhere. He's right in his own dead ball line. Just needs to hold them there, try and win a corner or win a throw in deep in their half, and just throws himself into a tackle and gives a goal kick.
Still only 19, yeah, but he's got some challenge for his position from senior players. David Burrows, who's had a lot of hamstring problems this season, is fit again. But Ron Atkinson recognises the potential in Hall. Newcastle are not the sort of side just to sit on a lead. They don't have the attitude, and some might say they don't really have the ability to do that. They're constantly searching and probing to score. This is Telfer. He's got Pickering to his right.
Should have played him. You called it. Pickering to his right, and that's where the ball should have gone. David Ginola again got caught a little cold. Pickering made a long run from deep. You see the left side, now watch Pickering come into that area there. John Beresford's drawn in, and really the ball should just be slipped into Ali Pickering's run.
Wheeler. Peacock clears. Richardson, such a stalwart for Ron Atkinson at Aston Villa before they both came here to Coventry City. And there's Beardsley setting an example to his teammates yet again. Salaka. Well, from Coventry's point of view, it's been vital in the early minutes of the second half not to go 2 goals adrift. Let's get some news from the far side of the ground from Nick Collins.
Well, Martin, believe it or not, that egg-shaped swelling on Robert Lee's cheek is just severe bruising. We've just spoken to the Newcastle physio, and he said otherwise there's no damage but the bruising. Amazing though it may seem, that is just a bruise.
Thanks, Nick.
Well, that's good news for all.
Mobley, nicknamed the General by Kevin Keegan, with a sense of American history. I used to call him Lurker down at Charlton, so I think the General's a more suitable forward. Ferdinand has the flag up against him.
Keeping him busy, the linesman. It's tight as the ball's played. You see how close that is? It's probably not offside, but I still think it's in that area where it can go either way.
The 1 goal from Steve Watson right on half-time for Newcastle United.
I think the thing about the Premiership now is 1-0. You never, ever sure now. You can go right to the last minute. So many goals are scored in the last 5 minutes of Premiership matches these days. The second goal, such a vital one in modern day football.
Lee. Important for Coventry that Pickering was well positioned then, with Ginola looking to run in behind him. Beresford's throw. Beardsley again doing his work so well. This is Telfer. Tight against the touchline. Well, we've stressed the forward force of Whelan and Dublin. The problem for Coventry is getting the right kind of service into them. do that, you have to have controlled possession, more controlled possession, and Coventry have really managed to this point. But at 1-0, there's always a chance. And Atkinson still resisting the temptation to bring on Love. It's helped on by Dublin, kept into play now. Slavko couldn't quite manage it.
Well, they were looking for a long throw, eventually took it quickly and short. Here in Dublin, they've got plenty of players that had he got a little less on the header, and there's 3 blue jerseys behind them. Any of whom could have got in the end of it.
Shaw. Straight up in the air by Pickering. And picks it off Ginola. Richardson, now that's a useful ball for Whelan. Dublin galloping into the centre. And Peacock gets in between the 2 Coventry forwards and maintains Newcastle's 1-0 advantage. Otherwise, Dublin would have been able to guide in the equaliser.
He defended well down Peacock in that situation.
And so too did Les Ferdinand. Midway through the second half, a Coventry corner. It's their first. Goalkeeper, and then Watson. Slavko who'd taken the corner. Tried to be a bit too crafty there. Beardsley. To Watson. Barton helping him on the outside. Only Ginola, and now Watson in the middle. Ferdinand has been back defending. Was late on parade that time. Long from Richardson, too long. But Darren Peacock took up the important position as Whelan got away down the right-hand side.
It was just important for him to fill the right space. He knew that Whelan wasn't going to opt for the shot, but was going to be looking for Dublin. And it was important that he put himself between man and ball.
Oh, boost! And Peter Beardsley, who's been stuck on 99 league goals for Newcastle since November.
Right, you don't often see this. Peter Beardsley, nice volley, there to be hit. Completely miss it. That's one for the scrapbook.
Beresford. Will 1 goal be enough for Newcastle United? There's still 20 minutes to play at Highfield Road. Lee. Up against Watson.
You can see from that at least one thing Coventry have done. They've asked a few more questions of Newcastle at the back, 33% in that defensive area for Newcastle. But for the majority, they've been fairly comfortable, I have to say.
On from Dublin. Whelan. It wasn't a bad ball. Played into space. Telford couldn't quite get there and turn it into a great ball. And now Pickering fouls Ginola, and Peter Jones says yellow card to the defender.
Ginola's magnificent at this, in taking a ball under severe pressure and dealing with it. He's quite happy to have people right next to him. Look at the way he just cushions it off the outside of his right foot. He knows where he wants to go. I don't think Ali Pickering can have any argument about the referee's decision to book him.
It's been the did he fall, was he pushed debate. It's gone on really since Ginola arrived in England. He definitely was fouled then. Wheeler. Oh. Newcastle on hand from Lee. And straight down the centre from Cernicek, and Beardsley saw it coming. And the linesman saw Beardsley.
He's worked hard, that linesman, second half.
He's worked hard too. Peter Beardsley who loves to drop back into midfield and play passes for others. Continues to share the real responsibilities right forward, along with Ferdinand. Arthur Williams, plenty of black and white shirts there to deal with the loose ball. Unfortunate for David Booth that he made that mistake right close to the Newcastle section of the ground. Got the bird well and truly for it. Watson. Watson again. Beardsley. A little bit tight there between Barton and Lee. But Samarco pressed back. Beardsley. Barton right on the opposite side of the pitch to the linesman, but conspicuous.
Beardsley so quick. Again, it's very tight. Flag goes up a little late,
Peacock. Beardsley once has given it away to Solarco. Coventry allowed to go on. Newcastle wanted an offside flag. Whelan tries to play it in. Peacock is there again, but Coventry this time have a corner. Kevin Richardson roaring across to take it. And Newcastle just a bit sluggish. In fact, Richardson a bit sluggish as well, because there's a short one on to Whelan, who now repositions in the middle. It's off the line by Beardsley. And Williams wanted a corner.
Well, the ref was right in the spot. But there's the value of having someone on the post, both posts. It's a wonderfully worked corner. Paul Telford, I think, is the one at the near post who comes in. Gets a little flick there. Whether it's drifting in, I don't know. Certainly looked like it might just have drifted wide. But it's vital that people are on posts in this situation, preserving the 1-0 lead.
Yes, Telford's more than useful in the air, and they work very hard involving him at their set plays. Wheeler. Had a lot of ground to get underneath that as it dropped. They have used an arm in doing so. They're still not quite sorted it out. Here's a free kick against Ginola. Peacock. Took a while to settle in after his move from Queen's Park Rangers. The Newcastle fans didn't take to him straight away.
He's competed well today, Martin, particularly as the game's gone into its latter stages. Coventry have knocked more and more longer balls, and Darren Peacock's really competed well and dealt with most of them.
Beardsley. And here's Ginola, just a little wide for him. Beardsley still waiting in the centre. Watson going in as well. This is Clark. Now Lee. Held up by Richardson. There's an easy outlet here in Barton. Coventry regrouping when they were struggling initially to deal with the twists and turns of Peter Beardsley. Lee getting it on to Beresford. Ferdinand pulling away to the back post as Beresford looks. But it was all too slow in coming in. And Les Ferdinand, as most forwards would feel, why oh why not play it in quickly when the opportunity was there. It does perhaps take another attacker to truly understand the importance of the right supply. It's a problem that Newcastle have had, getting caught offside right from the start of the game. Put out by Albert with his weaker foot. Solarco's throw. Sanacek in command, wants to distribute it quickly.
It's the only thing with a long throw, sometimes it can be too long. Needed to be a few yards shorter. I don't think then the keeper would have been tempted to come into that area.
Now, John Solako still sweating on that mistake that led to the only goal of the game, and Grizovic must have been mighty close to handling that outside the area and all the consequences.
I thought he was outside. Certainly I'm not square onto it where we're sitting, but he looked outside it to me.
Watson, that's a terrific ball. It's Ferdinand, and the Grizovic saves. The best chance Newcastle have had in the second half. Watson, the scorer of the one goal, doing his utmost to set up a second.
That was a glorious chance for Les to tie this game up. Super ball in, but Bego Grizovic spreads himself really well. And I just wonder if Les had gotten it off the ground. Just a little dink, but this is the one when. Is he outside, is he not? Certainly looked like it from where I was. Well, to say it's borderline, well, they get the benefit of the doubt, let's put it that way. But Les Ferdinand's not had a lot to go on all day. Not many opportunities. But that certainly was one.
And Sanacek had to move very smartly off his line.
It's amazing football. That goes in from Les Ferdinand, and I think Kevin Keegan and his team enjoy a comfortable 12 minutes. But because Steve Grizovic makes a save, well, it might be something of a nervous 12 minutes, to say the least.
Coming up for you on Sky Sports on Tuesday night, Sunderland against Manchester United, that FA Cup third round replay. More prominence for the North East clubs. Peter Reid trying to put Sunderland on the same sort of footing as Newcastle and Middlesbrough. And a measure of how well the manager has done, really, performance at Old Trafford. Beardsley. Though Sunderland have been beaten today at home by Norwich City by a goal to 0. Ashley Ward, the scorer for Norwich. Not the best preparation for the forthcoming cup tie.
Yeah, but you can bet he'll use it to his advantage, Peter Reid.
But Hall is there. Lee. Williams, who's done his best to try and give an attacking edge to Coventry from midfield. Shaw. Well, the prize is certainly in sight for Newcastle United. The 3 points that have been elusive on their travels over the last 3 months. But on that Newcastle bench, they'd love the comfort of a second goal. And Coventry take it away from Beardsley through Williams. Solako, Whelan and Dublin in the middle. Marcus Hall charged with supplying the cross. Tracked by Watson. Solako to take the corner. Headed away by Ferdinand, who just slightly pulled up lame as he landed. Back from Solako again. Boost is right in there. Albert got his head to it. This is Williams, and that's no sort of shot.
He was never in control of it, Paul Williams.
The crowd here today, 3,000 up on the average at Highfield Road, and the Newcastle supporters amongst them, cheering their team home. Flicked away by Boost. Solako. Ball gets it forward early. Prodded away, up and away by Albert. And Hall clumsily And again showing his inexperience. So Peter Unlove is summoned like the cavalry to try and rescue things for Coventry. Comes on for Telfer. He has 4 matches with an eye injury. And he takes up his initial position on Telfer's side of the pitch, Coventry right. That was handballed by Salako. I don't think the referee had a clear view of it. Certainly the linesman didn't.
He's given a free kick to Coventry, perhaps for a infringement that happened just before that. I think it was a good 50-50 challenge, both. But you see John Salako just here, just drags it on.
Dublin's header. Peacock. So important for Newcastle to see it through here. Dublin, Richardson. This is Pickering trying to pick out Unlove. Shinola, well, in the end defending efficiently and painfully. Took his time in playing the ball.
Well, he's full of confidence. Normally you'd be saying put that in Rose Ed, but he tucks inside. And then Dion Dublin really, well, flies into him with a really good tackle. Took everything, ball, Ginola, the lot.
Ginola off the pitch for treatment. He didn't finish the last game. He might not finish this one. That's a touch on from Dublin. Pickering. Unlove. Newcastle certainly haven't put the game beyond Coventry's reach. Newcastle's throw. Les Ferdinand showed a week ago how things can happen late on to deprive sides like Chelsea, leading by a goal to nil, as Newcastle themselves are doing here. Just over 5 minutes away, Newcastle, from establishing a 9-point lead in the FA Carling Premiership. Coventry to use what time remains to kind of prove their plight down on the edge of the relegation zone. They will come back on. Pickering. Well, they're not lacking persistence, Coventry City. So Newcastle have another mini crisis to deal with. Sonacek with the fist. There's Kevin Richardson trying to get it through the crowd and over the top from Unlove.
It's a chance. It's a good chance. Kevin Richardson really didn't get hold of his shot. Pavel Sonacek comes out, doesn't really clear the box. As it drops to Peter Unlove, it's there to be hit on the volley. And I just wonder, had he been on the pitch a little longer, maybe this catches him a little cold, but it sets up lovely to be hit, to be hooked in on target. You can see he gets right underneath the ball. There were an awful lot of bodies in front of him, to be fair.
Yes, including plenty of his own players. You saw Noel Whelan leaping, hoping the ball was going to pass underneath his jump on its way in for a Coventry equaliser. Kevin Keegan has come to the touchline and he's get a point across there in the most animated fashion.
I think what he's trying just to be sensible and don't commit too many forward. You know, we've got the 1-0 lead. What's the point in chasing another one?
Well, it's almost 2-0. Ferdinand. Dublin. Marcus Hall. Now Salako. Oh, it's a fine try, and one understands his own personal urgency. A crusade, really, from Salako to help Coventry here.
It's an adventurous run all across field. It's a long, long way out. To be fair, Pavel Srnicek's got no problem with it, sees it all the way.
And in that moment when he lost the ball loosely, it's looking more and more, that's the moment that Coventry lost the match. Boosted well. He was tight alongside Ferdinand. Did well without actually playing the ball. Brought away at pace by Unlov. Well, thrilling play from Peter Unlov. And he's still going. And the ball flies away off the outstretched ball to Peacock. And he wants players to get to Unlov and close them down. That's easier said than done.
I wonder if Ron Atkinson's thinking after that run, why on earth didn't I get him on 10 or 15 minutes earlier? But that's what he's capable of.
So, Coventry, and they find the goal that they're craving for, so close to the end. Not by Beresford. Marcus Hall to have a crack, but there wasn't too much conviction about it.
Again, the young lad, I think, just getting a little bit, showing his inexperience. It's an awful long way out. There are an awful lot of bodies to come through here as it drops to him. And they've got plenty of players in there. It would have been something special.
Wrestling there on Whelan by Peacock. No, 6 of one and half a dozen of the other in the mind of the referee. Boost plays it back at pace to Ogrizovic. Andy Gray's mulling over the man of the match.
Decisions made. Tell you in a minute.
Whelan. Dublin. Right, tell us.
Well, there have been 2 genuine contenders in black and white shirts, in my opinion, today. One who's defended excellently, Darren Peacock at the back. I thought he's been fantastic. But the pick of the bunch has been, well, the evergreen, I have to say it, Peter Beardsley. He's my Carling Premiership man of the match. I think he's been excellent today. And that's just typical in the 90th minute.
Well, on the virtual verge of his 35th birthday. He remains an exceptional example. Dublin. Richardson. Newcastle born, of course, and fighting to the very last to deny his hometown team maybe one last chance for Coventry. Ogrizovic has come up as well. It's Williams. And who smacks it away to safety? The man of the match.
And who's sprinting upfield? There he is, just appearing in the picture. Such energy. This is a big result for Newcastle, man. It really is. It's been a tough job today. They would have known it'd be tough normally. I don't think the pitch has suited them either, and they've really worked hard for this result.
Salako's throw. Chelsea were still leading at this stage in the cup tie last week. Grizovic, virtually an outfield player now. Comfortably away by Clark. Lee trying to stay onside ahead of Watson. Watson spotted Ginola coming in from the left. But he can keep it short to Barton. Oh, Barton's presented it to Solaka. Dublin. That's a poor one. Born of frustration, and for all the huff and puff from Coventry in the second half, there haven't been many moments when they've truly threatened Newcastle's lead.
I think Newcastle have been comfortable, Martin.
Boost. Beresford made sure it didn't drop over the top of him. Unlove, and he can make things happen, and Coventry needs something to happen. Peter Unlove!
Well, he made the run. He does tend to get his head down, Peter Unlove. You've got a criticism of him at times. After running so well again, he's got the option to play John Solako on if he wants. But he opts for a really tight hole, not a big gap there to hit it through. But once or twice he's got on the ball, he's looked like he could have made things happen.
Boost. Ginola. Newcastle, who got the one goal very late in the first half. Ginola dancing his way to run down the clock. If Newcastle do take the title, they might well look back on this as a key victory. Steve Watson took advantage of the error just before half-time from poor John Solako. The one goal gives the league leaders their first away victory in the Premiership for 3 months, and a very positive response to their cup problems at Chelsea and at Arsenal. A double completed over Coventry, who stay very much in the murky waters of the relegation area. Coventry City 0, Newcastle United 1.
Steve Watson's goal separating the teams. We'll get the thoughts of Steve Stone and Barry Venison when we come back. And after that, of course, looking back on all of Saturday's action.
Two of the wildest teams in the West are gunning for a place in the Super Bowl. The Cowboys are saddled up and ready to roll to shoot down Green Bay. But after the Packers' impressive win against the 49ers, Dallas will have to be quick on the draw to survive. The final showdown before the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship tonight at 9, live on Sky Sports.
My photography is about life, even when I photograph death. I do all of this because it's about believing my pictures are the truth. If you're documenting life, a moment only happens once. Everything's a one-shot deal. You get it or you don't. What makes me laugh is, you know, getting through the tiniest keyhole and getting it all when they say it's impossible. Your photographs are only as good as the position you get in. I can't get a photograph if I'm not in position. This card gets me into that position.
All children are fascinated by fire. Do you know where every match is in your house? They probably do. Digital PC proudly presents I am neither man nor woman, neither god nor demon, neither song nor tale. I am no one. I am Legion. I am Saltimbanco. The all-new show of Cirque du Soleil, playing at the Royal Albert Hall. Buy your tickets now.
Hello, Sky. Hello, birds. Hello, ships. Isn't it a beautiful day? Hello, Mr. Frog. I bet that if I were to give you a kiss, you'd turn into a handsome sheep shearer.
Oh, yeah! Castlemaine is made with golden crust orbs.
You haven't got a sister, have you?
Experienced hoppers wouldn't give a Castlemaine 4X for any other lager.
My big mate's invited me round for dinner.
Very tasty.
New Pepperami, Wide Boy.